Investigation into Gauteng's water crisis, the SA Human Rights Commission says it now wants to interrogate the current tensions around immigration and the factors driving them. The commission says the dialogue will look at claims of human rights abuses, incidents of violence, the displacement of people, and the state's response. According to the commission, the virtual Imbizo will also give communities a chance to share their experiences and help it gather first-hand information. It's unclear if groups behind the protests will form part of the talks. However, more protest actions are expected in parts of Gauteng today. Lukhona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News.
At the same time, uncertainty remains over whether African ambassadors to South Africa will be attending today's Africa Day celebrations in the Northwest. This comes after some leaders indicated their decision to stay away from the event, citing fears for their safety. Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa, Benjamin Kwashi, would not confirm if Ghana would be participating today, saying that decision lies with the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps. Kwashi says South Africa risks being isolated over tensions related to the issue of undocumented migrants.
What are we celebrating as Africans in South Africa when South Africans say Africans are not welcomed? I think that it's a decision. It's a difficult one for us to do. It's a difficult one for us to agree that we are not going to participate in any of these things. But I believe that it should be a wake-up call for all of us that we should continue to respect each other as Africans and continue to work within the Committee of Nations.
SANParks has put in place additional risk mitigating measures after 2 tourists were found dead at the Kruger National Park. The bodies were discovered on Friday near a river in the Pafuri section of the park. The section of the park shares a combined border with Zimbabwe and Mozambique. An investigation has been launched to determine the full circumstances surrounding the deaths. SANParks spokesperson JP Lowe says they are addressing risks in specific areas of concern.
These actions will reinforce our ongoing commitment to visitor safety as well as operational readiness. In specific terms, they include the deployment of additional monitoring and ranger resources in specific areas of concern, as well as enhancing technology systems that are intended to strengthen surveillance and early warning capabilities.
The R550 road in Ekurhuleni has been left severely damaged following service delivery protests at the weekend. The Gauteng Roads and Transport Department says parts of the road near Zonkizizwe and Palm Ridge were dug up and destroyed by protesting community members, forcing the temporary closure of the route. Motorists travelling between Heidelberg and Alberton were urged to use alternative routes. Spokesperson Lisiba Mbia has reminded protesters that destruction of public infrastructure is a criminal offence.
The department further calls on community leaders, protest organisers and residents to pursue lawful and peaceful engagements with government structures in addressing grievances without endangering lives or damaging infrastructures intended to serve communities.
While in the Philippines, the death toll following a building collapse in the capital has risen to 3, with 17 people still missing. The 9-story building, which was still under construction, collapsed yesterday, also hitting a nearby hotel. Those who are still missing are mostly construction workers who were sleeping at the building site when disaster struck. The cause of the collapse is not yet known. Officials said up to 70 people were employed at the construction site, although most had gone home for the weekend. Gold is trading at $4,566.42 an ounce. The rand is at 16.34 to the dollar, 22.03 to the pound, 19.02 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $99.52 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got a major accident seen along the M2 West. This is in the Benrose area just before Vickers Road. It's causing heavy traffic volumes there. There's also an accident seen reported on the R59 North. This is as you head towards Alberton. Please be on the lookout there. It's causing heavy delays. If you want to avoid this backlog, please try to use the N3 North.
And in your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns, the champions of Africa, for a second time beating AS FAR on aggregate 2-1 after last night's 1-1 draw. Orlando Pirates fans still celebrating the team's title clinched on Saturday. West Ham relegated as Spurs stay in the Premier League. There was also an emotional farewell for Pep Guardiola at City and Mo Salah at Liverpool. And Kimi Antonelli, the first driver in F1 history to claim his first 4 wins consecutively.
A partly cloudy Monday expected across Gauteng today. Johannesburg starting at a low of 8 degrees, peaking at 22. Pretoria 5 and 23, and Vereeniging 6 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the SA Human Rights Commission has called an urgent virtual imbizo amid a surge in protests against illegal migrants.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Visit primemediaplus.com to enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie.
For Joburg, by Joburg, in Joburg.
Bamise bonke.
702 on 92.7 and 106 FM.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And on DSTV channel 856.
7 minutes past 6 o'clock. Good morning from me, Ray White, in for Bongles this morning. What a morning to be South African. What a morning. Morning of celebration. Well, it's good morning, Johannesburg, Swane, Soweto, Washington, Beijing, wherever you are listening to us from. It's good to be in your company. Happy Africa Day. And like I said, it's just great to be South African because we are celebrating this morning. We are celebrating Sundowns. We are celebrating Pirates. And I'm look, Mateo, Amor, KG, dressed to the nines, Karabo, as well, who's doing your visuals this morning. Go to Facebook now and you will see how big Pirates is on this breakfast show. If you'd like to give a shout out this morning to Pirates or to Sundowns, but if you'd like to give a shout out this morning to Pirates, please do. 072 702 1702. I want you to be loud, I want you to be noisy, and I want you to do everything is about Pirates because I am surrounded by Buccaneers this morning. Entire breakfast team is here. Almost got your traffic, but Teo your business. Siamtanda, Bapelile, Rofiwa, they're producing your show. Cindy's got all your sporting news. She'll tell you exactly what's happened. KG, Pirates, pushing your buttons this morning. Well done to Sundowns and Pirates of the weekend as well. What a weekend. So we got two shout outs this morning. If you want to just say well done or make some noise for Sundowns or for Pirates this morning, please do. The other one is for those who don't follow soccer in our country. It happens. There are one or two people, like one or two. What's your favorite African country that you have visited? You went to an African country and you thought, this is my favorite one. Or perhaps you want to visit an African country. Why do you want to go to a certain country and what's in it for you? So I'd like to hear from you this morning. 072 702 1702. Which African country would you like to go to and why? And which has been your best one so far? Or perhaps you just want to celebrate the soccer.
Please allow me to be the first to give the devil his dues. Congratulations to Pirates. Very, very well done. Great championship. They were deserved winners. But on a more serious note, let's say Cabo Yellow. Now we have double the stars that Pirates have.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Sure. Exciting day today. All right. So apart from Africa Day, and I think we'll actually call it Soccer Day today because we've just won everywhere, we have a central theme this morning. It's the municipal elections. We are going to get a little bit serious this morning because it is the 702 Breakfast Show where we do tackle some very hard issues. Asking the question, do we need new legislation to govern our local municipalities to make sure that the party that you voted for actually stays there for the full term? Let me explain. Our government is preparing major changes to how local coalition governments operate, and a new municipal structures amendment bill, widely referred to as the Coalitions Bill, will be taken to Cabinet in June. And I'll be hopefully trying to catch up with the Cooperative Governance Minister, Velenkosini Klabisa, this morning. He's going to try and make a bit of time for us. If not, I'd like to talk to you about it anyway. And then a little bit later on, yes, we'll be talking about firearms. license because there's been a massive increase in the number of people applying for firearm licenses. So trying to find out what's going on. Why is that? So that's also coming up a little bit later on. Then I'll also be talking to former political analyst Lukhona Mnguni. Now he's entering the race for Johannesburg mayor under the banner of Rise Mzansi. And we've spoken to Herman Mashaba on the show. We've spoken to Helen Ziller. We're going to be speaking now to Lukhona about this. And interesting because I've been chatting to him all these years, being a political analyst. Now he is the story. And I love it when this happens. And I think sometimes, Mateo, people get a little bit frustrated.
Yeah.
We report on the stories. We report, and nothing happens. And then we say, okay, we'll do it ourselves.
I mean, look on with the clip that I saw with him announcing that he's going to be running, right? He says he's done with over-analyzing what's wrong in the country and he's deciding to participate and do something about it. So, yeah, it'll be good to hear what ideas he has to change things around.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So, lots to talk about this morning. 072 7021 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
And Mateo, what are you asking us this morning?
I'm asking you about pirates. I'm kidding.
Has their stock gone up?
This morning, I want to know, do you have any hacks on keeping your fruit and vegetable fresh in your household? Are there things that you do, storing them in a cool, dry place, or nifty things that you do to make sure that those fruits and vegetables stay fresh?
Well, and those have to be in a dark place because they've got to get ripe. I know that. I've got.
Do you have like a spot in your cupboard?
They've got
throw
to
them there.
dark.
You don't forget them there, though.
I have. And I take out some washing and I'm going like, oh, Ray. There is that. Bananas, don't put them in a fridge because they go off very quickly. I know that.
Okay.
But that's all I know. Amo?
I use lemon to drizzle on my apples, especially or apples and pears. When I've sliced them and I want to keep them fresh, I just drizzle a bit of lemon and it avoids for the fruits not to turn brown. And then for broccoli also, I will drizzle a little bit of lemon after it's steamed so that it doesn't brown as well. And then you mentioned something, the bananas.
Yeah.
I've seen a hack where you can, just at the top of the banana, you can just put
tape it on.
a cling wrap onto the, at the tip so that they stay nice and
keeps
yellow.
the moisture in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's clever. Mateo?
And never put anything next to bananas. No fruits, just keep them on their own. Yeah, don't put them next to anything else because then they also ripen faster. My mom once taught me this trick of putting avocados in maize meal, but I also forgot mine and that ruined everything.
Ooh. This is an interesting
I'll tell you why I'm
one.
asking.
Please do. That's coming up in about 10 minutes from now.
702.
Weather.
And this weather report is brought to you by Subaru. Rain on the road, gravel under the wheels. However, today's weather changes. Subaru keeps you moving. Now, looking at today's weather, let's see if the cold is still going to be here in Johannesburg. No, it's peaking at a high of 22 degrees, a low of 8. Pretoria going up to 23. Vereeniging, 21. Cape Town, a cloudy day with some morning fog patches, becoming partly cloudy in the afternoon, a high of 20. Mahikeng, 24. Mbombela, good morning, Nelspruit, 20 degrees. Bloemfontein, 21. Durban, 24. Liburg, 23. East London, 24. And Kimberley, 24 degrees.
Some mornings, the world feels uncertain. The sky turns, the road changes. And then there's that feeling. The quiet grip of the road beneath you, the calm in every turn. It's not just how it drives, it's how it takes care of you and the people you love. And somewhere between the first drop of rain and the road ahead, you realize you've fallen in love. Subaru carries you through life's weather. Fall in love with Subaru's all-weather confidence. Book a test drive on subaru.co.za.
EWN Traffic.
It's exactly 6:15. Right, Amor, how are the roads on Pirates Day today?
Well, Ray, we've got heavy traffic volumes already along the M1 North between Xavier and Car Street. That's due to peak time delays there. If you are heading towards the Joburg CBD, particularly using the M2 West, to expect more delays. This is just as you approach Vickers Road. That's due to an accident in the Benrose area. Traveling on the R59 North in the Alberton area, we've got more delays as well. This is due to an earlier accident between Klippier Drive and Nelson Mandela Avenue. Please try to use the N3 North through Spruit View to try and avoid that backlog. Otherwise, in Bedford View, queuing traffic as well on the N12 and the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Killies Interchange. I'll have more traffic updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Part of the 702 family.
Hi 702 lenders, my name is Karabo Siputi from Johannesburg. I'm a regular 702 listener. I find it very informative, from breaking news to current news, travel, entertainment. I'm always going to listen to 702 for as long as I'm here. And yeah, keep up the good work and keep informing us and empowering us with all the knowledge.
Welcome to our 702 family. Let's walk the talk.
At Specsavers, we're committed to offering affordable and professional eye care. That's why we're offering 1,500 Rand worth of savings with our winter promotion. Get a free frame up to the value of 1,500 Rand, or use the 1,500 Rand on one of our leading vision enhancements, like Climate Eyes, which automatically adapts to changing light. To qualify, simply purchase a comprehensive eye examination and prescription frame and lenses. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
Hi, this is Alia Itzebet, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. A reminder that you can still shoot for the stars while playing responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
That's Sia before he got naked. Sia had a bumper bash and had to reattach his fender using duct tape and a prayer. So Sia got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now submit claims instantly on the Naked app. No more arts and crafts for you, Sia. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals for people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi.
It's Joburg.
In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this book.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the city of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Jozi. Babize bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
702. WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good morning, Ray and the team there in the studio, the team of Buccaneers. I know we congratulate them, but the reality is that when Sundowns touches down in the country, all the other trophies become insignificant. The big one is here. The boys have brought the biggest in the African continent back home. The second star has loaded. Halala Masandawana, halala.
Good morning, Ryan team. We are the champions. Baga baga, lasimnyama. My blood is red, my bones are white. I'm a cerebral for life. It doesn't matter how you run the race, it's how you finish it. That's a Buccaneer for you. We take what belongs to us. Tango!
We take
ritse re tshwarane ka matlo a re yalo Ivan Khoza. Good morning Buccaneers. Good morning ezinyama zenkani, the happy people, once and always the trouble makers. Baga 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 two.
Do yourself a favor, go to Facebook right now. Have a look at 702. If you've just, if you're not there now, just go rewind and have a look what's been going on in our studio. There's lots to celebrate this morning.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Right, things you need to know about this morning, and in case you were living under a rock somewhere, these are the big stories. Mamelodi Sundowns conquered a hostile environment in Rabat that was late yesterday to win the biggest prize in African club football, the CAF Champions League, by holding host AS FAR to a 1-1 draw in Morocco. And in case you missed Saturday's fun, I think drama as well in a way, Orlando Pirates ended a 14-year wait for the league title after beating Orbit College FC 2-0 to win the 2025-26 Betway Premiership. There were 2 own goals, though. We're not going to mention that because I don't think anybody really cares, but there were 2 own goals. But well done to the Buccaneers this morning. In other news, Housing now has more than 860,000 informal structures across 1,158 informal settlements. This is according to figures presented by Premier Panyaza Lesufi's office. Tshwane has the highest number of informal settlements, followed by Johannesburg and then Ekurhuleni. The controversial Enhanced Games launched in Las Vegas, allowing athletes to use legal performance-enhancing drugs and banned technologies in pursuit of huge cash prizes, has drawn ire. Critics, including former British sprinter Iwan Thomas, warned the event is dangerous and immoral, fearing it could encourage doping and serious health risks among athletes. More on this with Adam Gilchrist in the World View a little bit later on. Then Africa Day is celebrated every year on May the 25th to honor the founding of the Organization of African Unity, known as the AU today. This was in 1963. The day celebrates Africa's culture, unity, history, and progress. And I've asked you the question this morning, have you traveled throughout Africa? Where is the one place you went and you thought, this is absolutely amazing? Where do you possibly want to go? That's the other one as well. So 072 702 1702 on that. And then on this day, in 1996, the Fugees topped the US charts with their second album, The Score, it was called, driven by the success of their hit remake, Killing Me Softly. Now, here's the song. Here's Roberta Flack. Listen to the original.
Strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly.
Right, so that's Roberta Flack. But then the Fugees came back years later and they brought you this version.
strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song.
There we go. The Fugees on this day in 1996 released the album containing that song. My question to you is, which is the better one, Roberta or is it the Fugees? I like the Fugees. There's something more there, but maybe you'll disagree with me. 072 702 1702.
702.
The newspapers.
You're wearing your kit as well.
I had
Bali.
to. I had to, Ray.
Look at you.
The whole week, you know. You guys must forgive us. We're allowed, man.
No, you are allowed. You really
Yeah.
are. You see, I'm not wearing anything. I'm doing TV today.
Okay.
That's my excuse.
Okay, I
That's
believe
only
you.
my excuse. I'm running off to a TV studio. But yes, my socks. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
All right, but let's talk about other things in the news. What's making news headlines in the newspapers?
Well, Ray, it's been about 4 years since the Taliban banned education for girls and women in Afghanistan. And the BBC this morning is running, and it's a lovely in-depth piece, you know, focusing on a specific woman who was told to marry. She was about to be forced to get married. And then she decided to flee her home in order to live in a city where she could pursue education, because the women there, 4 years on, they've lost all hope of education ever coming back for them to have access to education. Some of them are being forced into these marriages and they're afraid for their children as well. So I like how the story actually plays out, because it's got a lovely video interview, and it's one of those things that actually make you realize we take a lot of things for granted in countries like ours, where women and girls in Afghanistan are just fighting to be educated.
Yeah, it's shocking.
In
It's
2026,
absolutely
yeah.
unacceptable and shocking.
Yeah.
The citizen this morning, Eskom's 1 billion rand ghost town, and they built this town near Kusile to house 400 workers and their families. The only problem is the families never moved in. There's just a ghost town there now. 1 billion rand absolutely wasted. What else do you have?
Well, the only other story that we're looking at, obviously, Ray, this morning is Brown Mokgotsi going back to court. He will be hoping to apply for bail. It is a story that is doing the rounds on all the big newspapers this morning, and especially on the televisions as well. So that's going to be one for EWN to watch really closely today.
There we go. And those are the newspapers.
EWN Business.
Right, Mateo, you're asking this morning, do you have hacks on keeping your vegetables and fresh fruits fresh? Why are you asking this?
Well, Ray, apple and pear producer True Cape is using a very expensive method to make sure its fruit remain fresh and while they reach your stores and your houses, right? True Cape is paying 2 million rand a month for diesel supply to try and keep their pack houses and fridges operational. Storms have hit the Western Cape more recently and have caused electricity outages affecting operations. Farmers of grapes, stone fruit, citrus and apples in the Western Cape have suffered major damage due to heavy rain and strong winds that have happened earlier this month. The severe weather washed away bridges, roads, and affected electricity lines as well. According to Agri Western Cape, the storm left 400 roads closed with 9,000 Eskom faults reported. South Africa is the largest fruit exporter on the continent and one of the largest in the world, exporting around 60% of its total fruit production, over 4.7 million tons annually to nearly 90 countries. So this is a major one for our economy. South Africa's horticultural exports are a multi-billion-dollar powerhouse, making the country the largest agricultural exporter in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, driven predominantly by high-value fresh fruit, things like nuts and vegetables, these exports consistently account for $3.5 billion or 65 billion rand in outbound shipments annually. True Cape marketing chairperson Peter Graaf says more than 300,000 tons of export fruit are currently in cold storage and require electricity to maintain quality. So, of course, if that quality can't be maintained, you can just imagine how much would be lost there. There's also insufficient generator capacity to keep these cold storages operational, while diesel costs, of course, are going up because of what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, if the fruits aren't exported, thousands of seasonal jobs could also be lost. Ceres fruit processors still need to process more than 100,000 tons of apples and pears into concentrate while operating on generator power. So a bit of a crisis there's being faced by the horticultural farmers.
Yeah, but very interesting what they are doing. How's the rand in the markets?
Rand quite strong this morning, 16 Rand 33 against the US dollar, up more than 0.5% at exactly 19 Rand against the euro and 22 Rand against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,561 an ounce, or platinum at $1,962. Brent crude at $94 a barrel. I'll tell you why that oil price has dropped after 7.
Thanks, Mateo. Brings the time to 6:31. Right, Mbali, concerns about Joburg's biggest hospital.
That's correct, Ray. A very good morning. Well, the DA in Gauteng says the public protector's findings in the Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital investigation are a sign of serious maladministration by the provincial health and infrastructure departments. The public protector's office released the report on Friday following a blaze at the facility in 2021. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi has been given 30 days to submit an action plan tackling the report's recommendations, including accountability measures and lifestyle audits for officials implicated in the delays. DA Gauteng Shadow MEC for Health, Jack Bloom.
Patients really deserve a fully functioning hospital. This is supposed to be our flagship hospital in the province, and still it remains crippled because of infrastructure problems.
Nearly 2 weeks after devastating storms hit parts of the Western Cape, the province is still battling to restore crucial services to some areas which were left cut off due to infrastructure damage. 11 people died and thousands were displaced due to flooding. The storms have since been declared a provincial disaster, with additional resources now being mobilized as officials continue with mop-up operations. Western Cape Premier Alan Winde says repair work is underway across the province. Eskom has reconnected electricity to about 80% of affected areas, while more than 60% of the 400 roads damaged in the storms have been reopened. But Winde says many communities remain cut off from critical services.
Please, I do understand the frustration. Our teams are working flat out, trying to swap them around so at least get a bit of a break. We are keeping it going, making sure the overtime is there.
And Pope Leo is expected to release his manifesto on artificial intelligence today. This forms part of a bid to address ethical and social challenges as the technology develops worldwide. Since his election a year ago, the Pope has repeatedly warned of the dangers of AI, including the gradual replacement of reality by its simulation. According to the United Nations, AI could be worth up to $4.8 trillion by 2033, a 25-fold increase in a decade. Last year, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned that the window is closing to shape AI for peace, justice and humanity. A partly cloudy Monday expected across Gauteng today, lows of between 5 and 8 degrees and highs of between 21 and 23.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 South. This is as you head towards the Baklu turn off coming out of Allendale Road. An accident has been reported there. There's also queuing traffic reported on the N1 North as you leave Soweto. This is between the Deep Kloof interchange and the Soweto Highway. Another accident there, unfortunately.
The top story in EWN, the DA in Gauteng says the public protector's findings in the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital investigation are a sign of serious maladministration by the provincial health and infrastructure departments.
That's Thabo before he got naked. When Thabo's car broke down, he did what every manly man does best: hit things, fiddle, and hope it works. So Thabo got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now call roadside assistance anytime on the Naked app. Tools down, Thabo. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Slow fiber, unstable internet, and that never-ending call center runaround. Enough of that. Switch to Webtel Connect. Fast, reliable fiber and real support from people who know what they're doing. No menu mazes, just internet that actually works. Go check your coverage now. Visit webtelconnect.co.za or WhatsApp 087 238 3780. Webtel Connect. Internet you can trust.
Mzansi, it's time to get your game up to scratch. Kaya, the new official national lottery operator, is giving you more chances to win big with scratch cards. All you have to do is grab a coin and scratch the card to reveal if you've won. If you've hit it big, you can claim your prize instantly. The more you scratch, the more chances of winning. A new chapter begins with Kaya. 1 June 2026.
In a world that is continuously evolving, Africa is adapting, innovating, and finding new pathways for growth. R&B Africa Focus is back for its 5th season to unpack the conversations shaping the continent right now. Every week on 702, award-winning journalist Crystal Alderson takes a closer look at influential economies and emerging opportunities across Africa, with insights from R&B experts and regional voices. So catch R&B Africa Focus Tuesday on 702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Make sure you watch the in-depth video series with episodes released weekly on Prime Media Plus. R&B, a leading African corporate and investment bank.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good morning, 702. My name is Tanya Raja. Today, I'd like to congratulate the Orlando Pirates for winning.
Good morning, Ray and team. Ray, I don't force soccer, but all my friends, they support Pirates and Arsenal. So I just want to say congratulations to Pirates and Sundowns. This is Ronnie Runbeck.
Good morning, Ray and the rest of the 702 listeners and all the champions out there. Well done to my Paganias. People need to understand, Ray. If you pay for 14 years and you remain humble, that's how God works. God said, my boss, you don't need to score. Let me do the rest for you. Pay for 14 years, remain humble, and God will show you how it works. This is a great example. Well done to Sundowns as well. The champs are here.
The champs are here. I mean, what a day to be alive in South Africa. I mean, wow. All right, if you go to @RayWhiteSA, I posted the pictures from the studio, but do go to our Facebook page on 702 and see what's going on in the studio.
EWN Sport.
So, Cindy, what are you leading with this morning? I mean, there's not much really going on.
I got into work this morning and I said to Paul, I'm shame. Your team finally won the league, but I have to start with Sundowns. Because
yeah, no shame.
So even though you won, they're still trumping you. Only because they are the champions of Africa, winning the CAF Champions League for a second time after a 1-1 draw with AS FAR. Mokoena cancelling out Ramati's opening penalty. Sundowns won 2-1 on aggregate. Coach Miguel Cardozo speaking on SuperSport after the match.
It has been a hard work for my players, and obviously it's for them that all the credit should go. I do praise them for the belief, for the commitment, and for the energy they put in today. Congratulate all our fans, the ones here, the ones that always follow us. It has been a very hard season. For us, for me, there's no ashes for Mamelodi Sundowns. It's on difficult moments that you see champions, and this is for the ones that truly believe.
Oh, I mean, come on, guys. Well done. Well done.
The only silverware of the season, we have to reiterate.
No, don't do that.
Yes.
Why are you doing that?
Bongani's not here today because I'm sure he's lost his voice because his team are league champions for the first time. The Sundowns are not champions in 8 years, and Orlando Pirates won that title on Saturday. Here's their coach, Abdeslam Wadu.
Fantastic day for all Orlando Pirate community, for all the lovers of football. I think the boys realized something unbelievable. 14 years to win the tribal, not only the title but the tribal. I think we have to give credit to our boys, to my technical staff, analyst staff, medical staff, the people from the club who are working on the shadow.
And if you're new to this show, everybody on the show, Barmy, supports Orlando Pirates, and they've been everybody's face looked so stressed for the last 9 months. So it's so nice to come to work on a
Monday morning, and everybody's just beaming and excited to be here. Except if you're a West Ham fan in the English Premier League last night. They were relegated despite beating Leeds 3-0. They go down with Wolves and Burnley. Spurs beat Everton 1-0 to stay in the league. Coming in next season, Hull, Ipswich and Coventry. The champions Arsenal beating Crystal Palace 2-1. And the runners-up Man City had Pep Guardiola's farewell ruined in a 2-1 loss to Aston Villa. Guardiola leaves with 1 year still left on his contract.
I will not miss it for a while, that's for sure. But I feel deeply that it's for this club, it's for these players, for many things, the right decision to take. And thank you to the club for respecting it. Because at the end, they understood that, okay, enough is enough.
Bruno Fernandes finished the season with a record 21 goal assists as Man United beat Brighton 3-0. Liverpool held 1-0 by Brentford. Salah in his last game got an assist there. And Chelsea lost to Sunderland 2-1. In golf, South African Richard Sterney won the Sedal Open in Belgium. A final round 66 saw him finish on 18 under overall, 2 ahead of the field. And Canadian Grand Prix was won by Kimi Antonelli, his 4th win in a row. Antonelli tussled with George Russell, exchanging the lead throughout before Russell's car stopped on lap 30. Lewis Hamilton overtook Max Verstappen late to finish second, his best result since joining Ferrari. Antonelli is the first driver in F1 history to claim his first 4 wins consecutively and lead the Drivers' Championship by 43 points. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
It's another girl. Yes. Families multiply, fees shouldn't. With Ultimate Banking, you get support for every chapter. Get discounted banking for your spouse and give each of your children a head start with a Mega U account. Because as your family grows, your banking should keep up. Apply online. Your story matters. ABSA. Terms and conditions apply. ABSA is an authorized financial services provider.
Hey, we buy cars. How does it work if I want to sell my car?
We'll drive to your place. You can visit our pods. Even if you don't have space, then at the mall in a parking lot, we've got lots of depots all across the land. Contact We Buy Cars. You're in safe hands. Safe hands.
Wow, that's great.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
Ready to buy your dream car? Put an offer in on a new house or take out that personal loan. Make 2026 your year with Postnet and Huru. Visit your nearest Postnet store to get a comprehensive credit report from 4 of SA's leading credit bureaus sent straight to your phone. For only 135 Rand, take charge of your future with a clear picture of your financial position and how to improve it. Why second guess your credit rating when you can be certain? Get your Huru and Kudo credit report at Postnet today. Postnet, helping you succeed.
Coming up in your program in the next hour, it's What's the Question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. Up for grabs 3,000 Rands in cash. All you need to do is send us an answer based on anything that has piqued your interest in the show, and you could win the first 1,000 Rand. Simply WhatsApp your name and that answer to 072 702 1702. And of course, a little bit later on, someone else will ask the question to win 2,000 Rand. Remember, you stand a better chance of being selected to give us today's answer if you have SMS out to Outsurance and got yourself a quote. So SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Good morning, 702. My name is Njabulo. I am 10 years old, and I go to Lateral School, Glandia. I want to be a lawyer, and I feel excited to play today.
Oh, Njabula, I'm looking forward to playing with you today. I'm coming up against a lawyer. Oh dear. Well, Njabula, I've seen the questions. I think they're pretty much okay. You should get 10 out of 10, and if you do, I'll give you 10,000 Rands in cash.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
16 minutes to 7 o'clock. This EWN traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on your car insurance if you don't ask them for 500 Rand. Right, Amo, N1 North, there's been a crash.
Yeah, that's correct, Ray. This is just as you leave Soweto via Deep Kloof. The accident happened near the Soweto Highway. It is causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of the Deep Kloof interchange. There's also queuing traffic in Eldorado Park. This is along the N12 East between Klipspruit Valley Road Road and the Golden Highway. While traveling in a Spruit View, we've got delays along the N3 North. This is between Leondale Road and Heidelberg Road. I'll have more traffic updates coming up, but if you see anything else, we're on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 47. Did I turn the iron off? Oh, the inner turmoil. Well, with the Outsurance pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You have insurance, just in case. A spare tire, just in case. But when it comes to cash flow, most businesses wait until it's too late. Bridgement gives you business funding on standby, so timing doesn't decide for you. Get access to up to 10 million rand. No cost to apply or keep it in place. Use it when you need it, free when you don't. Apply online at bridgement.com. Bridgement, business funding simplified.
It's time to get revved up. The Motor Select Rev Up sale is on, and we've got thousands of quality pre-owned vehicles at unbeatable prices. That's everything from city cars to 4x4s. Offer ends 30 June, so get to motorselect.co.za now.
We could tell you we are the best bank in Africa, but if you're a CEO or CFO looking to grow, you're probably more interested in the numbers, like the fact that our systems process $9 trillion every year. That's around 45 times the value of all intra-Africa trade, and that our custody network safeguards 17.7 trillion rand in assets. Those are big numbers, and a big reason to grow with us. Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Morning, Ray. You know, the country that I'd love to visit in Africa, it's Uganda. Actually, in this month of June, was that euphoria of Arsenal having won the Premiership and also winning the Champions League this coming weekend, man. The vibe there, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's like the whole country there favors Arsenal. They are fans of Arsenal. Thank you very much, Ray. William here. Thank you. Bye.
So interesting, William. It really is. Fans of Arsenal in Uganda. And talking this morning about which country would you like to visit? Or have you visited? Have you been to, like William's been to Uganda? Where have you been throughout Africa? And why was it simply awesome? I mean, I went off to Zanzibar, which is a bit of a cheat because of course it's going to be nice. But I mean, Zanzibar for me was great. Namibia, Mozambique, beautiful countries. But I'd like to hear from 702 Land. Where have you been and what has been your experience?
Ray Muto and Amo, you see those brown papers that when you buy KFC, but in a way, any brown papers, like if you want to make your avocado soft, just throw them in the brown paper, keep it away, and then you'll see in few days, 2-3 days, you'll be sorted.
Okay, that's so clever.
Okay, yeah, it is.
Right,
I've never thought of it.
Yeah, talk about hacks for your food. What do you use to keep your food fresh so it doesn't go off? And avocados are a bit of a problem, like bananas. Keep them coming. 072 702 1702.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Right, time for the Whiz Quiz. We say good morning to Njabulo. Njabulo, hi, good morning. Welcome to 702.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you want to be a lawyer one day?
Yes.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. I think you're going to get 10 out of 10. So I'll ask you 10 questions. For every single one that you get right, you get 100 Rand. And if you get 10 out of 10 in 60 seconds, you get 10,000 Rand. How does that sound?
It sounds amazing.
Excellent. Right. And Jabula, are you ready?
Yes.
Excellent. Right. KG, start the clock. Spell the word pencil.
P-A-N-S-T.
Unfortunately not. Pencil. Pencil is incorrect. In maths, what is 30 minus 15?
30 minus 15, 20, 29, 20. It is 19.
No, it's 15. What do we call the yellow part of an egg?
Yolk.
Correct. True or false, 2013 was a leap year?
True.
It's false. Which five-letter word beginning with Q means silent or still?
Can you please repeat that?
Sure. Which five-letter word beginning with a Q means silent or still?
I don't know.
It's quiet. What color is the small triangle in our South African flag?
Green.
Oh, it's black. Oh, okay. All right, so you got judges? One. You got one. But don't worry. Now, Njabula, I've got something extra for you. Okay, so you got one, so you got $100. Okay. Now, I've got an extra question. This week, we're giving you an extra question for a chance to win a hamper from Reach for a Dream. So I'm going to ask you a question, and you have to guess whether it's a fact or a fuzz. Now, a fact is true. A fuzz is not true. Okay. So a fact or a fuzz. So I'm going to ask you, Njabolo, for you to get you that hamper. This coming Friday, okay, the 29th, will it be Slipper Day for Reach for a Dream? This coming Friday. Slipper Day, is it a fact, true, or is it a fuzz? Is it false?
Fuzz.
Oh, no. It is indeed Slipper Day this coming week. I'm sorry, Njabolo, but you know what? You did a really, really good attempt on the Whiz Quiz today. Have a great day at school, and we'll chat to you again soon. There we go. It's Njabolo. He did get himself $100. I thought he gave up a really good fight. And I think, Njabolo, one day you are going to become an excellent lawyer. And I look forward to chatting to you then.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702. Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
It is 9 minutes to 7 o'clock, and former political analyst Lukhona Mnguni is entering the race for Johannesburg mayor under the banner of Rise Mzansi. Now, Lukhona is known for his sharp analysis. We've had him on the show many times. His sharp analysis on the political scene and has often singled out those accused of corruption or maladministration. This year's municipal election is very important as cities battle for services, with Joburg considered to be bankrupt. They've had this whole thing with Eskom, where they owe them about 5.3 billion rand. Lukhona joins us now. Hi, welcome to 702, Lukhona. Good to chat to you on the other side of the spectrum now. Not the journalism or analyst side, the other side. Welcome.
No, good morning to you, Ray. Good morning to the listeners of 702, and it's really great to chat to you from the other side.
All right, why enter into politics? Was it frustration because you thought to yourself nothing's changing? Why politics?
Well, I think all of us at some point should aspire to serve our country, particularly in public service. There should be a point in our time, whether that is through the civil service in the sense of the bureaucracy or in terms of political leadership. However, what has happened in this country, because of the sheer, death of politics, what has happened is that politics has become unfashionable. We have ceded the space of politics to people who believe that they are career politicians, and then what they've done is to close off the space to people like myself, yourself, to say that no, we must focus on the things that we have chosen to do, as though we don't enjoy, the rights that are enshrined in our constitution, rights that were fought for, that, any one of us can actually stand for office. And if you interpret those rights properly, then nobody is deprived at all when the time is right. And you talk about, is it out of sheer frustration? I think I've been vocal about the quality that is deteriorating in terms of political leadership. And if the quality of politicians is deteriorating in the country, who then is this person who must at least attempt to fill up that space or level up that space? And I think I'm throwing my hat in the ring, partly because I'm convinced that I am at a right place in my life where I've accumulated enough of experience, accumulated enough of networks, enough of legitimacy, particularly within the society, of the city of Johannesburg.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the city of Joburg. I alluded to the fact that the city is bankrupt. They're battling for money. They're trying to borrow money. Eskom wants to switch the lights off. How are you going to fix this mess?
Well, by firstly providing leadership that has a commitment to fixing the issues that are there in Johannesburg. And I'm running this campaign, and we need to vote out the thieves, vote Amasela out. We need to clean up the city of Joburg, clean up its finances, clean up the governance issues, clean up the streets of Johannesburg. Because if you don't do those things, and then of course you need to have water in Johannesburg, because you can't clean without water, isn't it? So you need to have water so that you can clean. And because if the city is not clean, if the city can't have water, if the finances are in disarray, there is absolutely no way you can actually provide service delivery. But also you need to be an incorruptible leader.
Sure.
Some people can't come out and stand tall and say, I am incorruptible. Because if you are not incorruptible, then you provide gateway for all sorts of leakages. Because part of the problem is not that there's no money in the city, it's because it is leaking because of corruption, it is leaking because of incompetence, it is leaking because there's no cost efficiency in how we deliver services.
So let me ask you this. City Power, they were in the news for the wrong reasons again this last weekend. Would you scrap a City Power? Would you take these entities and think, right, let's put them to one side? I know Action SA has spoken about that, some of the other parties as well. How would you deal with a City Power?
Well, the entities in Joburg are actually a misnomer. There is no metro that is governed the way in which Joburg is. And I've spoken to some people who were there when this entire framework was architectured. Probably it made sense then in the early 2000s to pursue these entities. But right now, these entities provide multiple sites of micro-corruption. They provide multiple sites of deploying wrong people into the boards. And the way in which they've been run over the years, they've introduced a governance structural problem in the city of Joburg. By the way, the one thing that they introduced, and which is a frustration, I suppose, is that as a politician, as a mayor of the city of Joburg, there are instances where you can't, with full conviction, account for certain things because these entities sometimes become a law unto themselves because they'll say they've got a board, they've got an executive. So yes, over time, you need to dissolve these entities into the city of Johannesburg, and you need to probably think of a different path forward for a city as big as this one. Perhaps you need one entity that would probably be the Johannesburg Investment Company, that would rally then, of course, both the resource management and asset management of the assets of the city, and then of putting it in a pot where you've got a blended way of investment with the private sector. But definitely the entities as they are being run, they make absolutely no sense. But I do think the last thing I want to say on this, particularly about City Power, you need a strong relationship with Eskom, because Joburg is one of those cities where there's an intersection of all the spheres of government in one place. So as much as you may say the city is responsible for certain things, Eskom is responsible for certain things, you need a good relationship also with the Minister of Energy and Electricity.
I'm going to ask you a question that you would ask if you were sitting in my chair. Would you consider a coalition, and is there any party you wouldn't go into a coalition with?
Personally, I do feel that, a coalition with the Patriotic Alliance would be very difficult to pursue. My belief is that the ANC has to be the one that makes a case why it must be considered for a coalition after, running this city to the ground. But insofar as other parties are concerned, I do think that there must be an instance where we sit around the table, we see what political parties have to offer, firstly at a leadership level, secondly at a policy proposition, and thirdly at the level of seriousness and commitment to be part and parcel of the, cleaning up of Johannesburg, and not, being dilly-dallying on some of the key elements that need to be undertaken within a short space of time.
Oh, interesting stuff, Lukhona. Thank you so much. Good to chat to you on 702. Lukhona Mnguni is the Johannesburg mayoral candidate for Rise Mzansi, and we'll be bringing you all the different candidates over the next couple of months so you can take an informed decision about who your next mayor is going to be.
702.
Coming up, the big
Right, coming up, government is preparing major changes to how local coalition governments operate. And I spoke to Lukhona about that now, and I just thought to myself, if you don't get enough of the vote, not to say he won't, but if you don't get enough of the vote, will you enter into a coalition? And a coalition has become quite a new reality for us in South Africa. You see that now with the government of national unity. The question is, all of a sudden people fall out, and the party that you voted for is no longer there. Or say, for instance, your party is there, then it's not, and then there's fighting and infighting. So what they want to do is come up with legislation to make sure that that party that you vote for, if they do win, that they stay there for 5 years. So looking at the merits of that and talking to Valenkosini Klabisa, he's the Cooperative Governance Minister. So quite a bit coming up on your breakfast show this morning. It's just gone 7 o'clock.
This is EWN.
The Justice Cluster to meet as anti-illegal migration protests continue and more Ebola cases recorded in the DRC. Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster is due to hold an urgent meeting to discuss the rising protests against undocumented migrants in the country. South Africa has seen a wave of demonstrations in the recent weeks, with some locals accusing those who are in the country illegally of being the reason behind the country's crime and unemployment crisis. The demonstrations have also seen shops and businesses in parts of the country being forced to shut down. Khomotso Modise reports.
The meeting is set to be held at the Union Buildings and will be attended by all ministers in the security cluster and senior officials responsible for national security in the country. The ministers will also meet to finalize a framework on the National Action Plan to fight racism, racial discrimination and xenophobia. They'll also meet with political parties and various groups that have been leading community marches against illegal foreign nationals across the country. The cluster says the aim of the meeting is to establish rules of engagement during the protests and to discuss government initiatives set out to address illegal immigration. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
At the same time, uncertainty remains over whether African ambassadors to South Africa will be attending today's Africa Day celebrations in the Northwest. This comes after some leaders indicated their decision to stay away from the event, citing fears for their safety. Ghana's High Commissioner to South Africa, Benjamin Kwashi, could not confirm if Ghana would be participating, saying that decision lies with the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps. Kwashi says South Africa risks being isolated over tensions related to the issue of undocumented migrants.
What are we celebrating as Africans in South Africa when South Africans say Africans are not welcomed? I think that it's a decision. It's a difficult one for us to do. It's a difficult one for us to agree that we are not going to participate in any of these things. But I believe that it should be a wake-up call for all of us that we should continue to respect each other as Africans and continue to work within the Committee of Nations.
A suspected kingpin linked to fraud in KwaZulu-Natal's flood disaster relief fund is expected to appear in the Durban Magistrates Court this morning. The Provincial Transport Department says the suspect was arrested for allegedly illegally gaining access to emergency housing funds meant for flood victims in the province. Spokesperson Dabezinhle Sibia says a specialized unit investigating corruption within human settlements, including the sale of RDP houses.
Game over for the perpetrators of fraud and corruption in the allocation of funds earmarked for the building of houses for the needy communities. In particular, there are mayors, councillors and officials who have bypassed the department and clandestinely rushed to hand over houses and title deeds to unqualified individuals.
Hundreds of residents have been left displaced after a deadly fire destroyed parts of an informal settlement in Moreleta Park. One person was killed and about 150 structures were damaged in the blaze. Tshwane Emergency managed to contain the fire before it spread through the settlement. Emergency Services spokesperson Nanaha Tebegiba says officials are assessing the full extent of the damage.
Preliminary investigations into the cause of the fire will be conducted. Disaster risk management will also conduct assessment to assist affected families.
And more than 900 suspected Ebola cases have now been identified in the conflict-hit Democratic Republic of Congo. The new number was published by the head of the World Health Organization. Ebola is a deadly viral disease that spreads through direct contact with bodily fluids. It can cause severe bleeding and organ failure. The DRC declared an outbreak on May the 15th caused by the Bongani strain, which has no approved vaccine or treatment. In a previous update released on Saturday, the DR Congo Health Ministry had said 204 deaths had been recorded in 3 of its provinces. Gold is trading at $4,566.42 an ounce. The rand is at 16.34 to the dollar, 22.03 to the pound, 19.02 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $99.52 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the R80 East Mabopane Highway towards the R55. Please be on the lookout there. It's peak time delays. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South between the Proof Plus interchange and the N4 exit.
And in your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns win the CAF Champions League, beating AS FAR in aggregate 2-1. Orlando Pirates coach Abdeslam Wadu not sure he'll stay on despite the team's league win. Man City, they relegated West Ham. And Kimi Antonelli, the first driver in F1 history to claim his first 4 wins consecutively.
A partly cloudy Monday expected across Gauteng today. Johannesburg is starting at a low of 8 degrees, peaking at 22. Pretoria 5 and 23, and Vereeniging 6 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: the Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster is due to hold an urgent meeting to discuss the rising protests against undocumented migrants in the country.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
702 on 92.7 and 106 FM.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And on DSTV channel 856.
It is 7 minutes past 7 o'clock. Good morning from me, Ray White, in for Bongles this morning. Happy Africa Day. Happy Sundowns Day. Happy Pirates Day. We have been celebrating this morning. If you want to see what we've been, or what some of us are wearing this morning, or the celebrations in the studio, just go to YouTube and you can see exactly what's going on there. And I tell you what, KG and Amo and Mateo are dressed to the nines, and Karabo as well this morning, dressed to the nines. So talking about all things Africa today. Also coming up on your program, asking, do we need new legislation to govern our local municipalities to make sure that the party that you voted for actually stays there for the full term? And government is preparing major changes to how local government elections operate. In other words, if you vote for a certain party, and that party is elected into government, you want that party to stay there. There can't be a motion of no confidence every second month and all sorts of lack of service delivery. So hoping to talk to Cooperative Governance Minister Belenko Sini-Hlabisa about this. He is traveling. We've just chatted to him offline, but he said, I'm traveling. My reception isn't so good. So hopefully we will catch up with him in the next 20 minutes or so. Also this morning, asking, do you own a firearm? Are you thinking of buying one? Well, there's been a large increase in the number of firearm license applications. Figures show there has been a steady increase in firearm applications over the past 15 years, especially over the past 5 years. So asking the question, why is there a surge in firearm applications? If you've applied for a firearm, tell us why you feel you need to get a firearm. And of course, our shout outs this morning, like I said, is Africa Day, it's Pirates Day, it's also Sundowns Day. Go to YouTube and see how we are celebrating.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Now, things you need to know about today. Eugene Cousins, founder of Chimp Eden and a renowned chimpanzee rescuer, has died in a paramotor accident near Hartbeespoort Dam at the age of 47. Cousins was widely respected for rescuing chimpanzees from trafficking and war zones, with his work featured in the TV series Escape to Chimp Eden. A shocking story. Absolutely shocking story. The new DNA research has identified more crew members from the doomed 1845 Franklin expedition, which ended with the deaths of 129 sailors aboard the HMS Erebus and the HMS Terror. This is in the polar region. Scientists used DNA from skeletal remains and living descendants to identify 6 sailors and also uncover new details about the expedition's tragic final days, including evidence of cannibalism. Now, researchers say the discoveries are helping families and historians better understand one of Britain's greatest polar exploration disasters. Now, back home, Gauteng now has more than 860,000 informal structures across 1,158 informal settlements, according to figures released by Premier Panyaza Lesufi's office. Tshwane has the highest number of informal settlements, followed by Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni, as governments warns that rapid land invasions and urban migration are putting major pressure on infrastructure and services. And it's a very big story. Something else is also making news headlines. More than 15,000 Australians are unlikely to get refunds after Conservative commentator Candace Owens' cancelled Australian tour collapsed financially, with the promoter reportedly running out of money. Owens claims she also lost hundreds of thousands of dollars after paying legal fees linked to her failed visa battle. I'd like to know from you, have you ever booked for a concert or a venue and you didn't get your money back? In fact, you were left very, very angry. Well, they say they'll give the money back to the Australians. But I just thought back home here in South Africa, has that ever happened to you? And then on this day in 1995, South African cricket star Kagiso Rabada was born. Now, Rabada became one of the world's top fast bowlers after making his international debut in 2014, later topping both the ODI and Test bowling rankings at just 22 years old. Known for his pace, skill and consistency, he's regarded as one of the best Test bowlers in the world. Those are the things you need to know about today.
702. Up next.
The big interview.
Hi, Ray. Just listening to your interview with Lukhona. I am not too far into it, but I think, with how you've introduced him and hearing him speak, I would vote for him, and I would hope he gets the votes, because I do sometimes feel that some of these political organizations are just, I don't know, and if we get just one independent to go in there and do the right things and fix the country, or fix his, selected space, fix Joburg, that would be the key we need to unlock people's eyes on, hey, give more individuals a chance.
Hi, Ray. You know what? To be honest, all these people are saying the same thing. Helen Zila is saying the same thing. Mashaba is saying the same thing. Even Lukhona is saying the same thing. I can only vote for Lukhona because I like him as a person, or vote for Helen Zia because I like him as a person. Not that his party is going to do better than the other parties. They're all saying the same thing. To me, it's just hogwash. It's Mandla and Pinoni.
Monday, is it really hogwash, or is it because they are frustrated? We've got many opposition parties saying things like, we need to fix our traffic lights, we need to fix our potholes, we need to fix our city. City Power's in trouble with Eskom. In fact, at the weekend, I was sitting at a traffic light, and this traffic light was doing a disco dance. It was green, it was orange, it was all sorts of colors. And I just thought to myself, is this really the city of Joburg we want to live in? And I think that's what all these opposition figures are also saying as well. They're saying, we had enough now. We've actually had enough. We don't want a disco scene at a traffic light. We just want those 3 colors.
EWN Traffic.
14 minutes past 7 o'clock in this EWN traffic brought to you by Sizekaya. The National Lottery is changing lanes and moving over to Sizekaya, your new official National Lottery operator from the 1st of June. Right, delays in Boksburg.
Yeah, that's correct, Ray. That's due to the roadworks that are taking place along the N17 West. This is between Osborne Road and Heidelberg Road. Do expect about a 15-minute hold up there. There's also queuing traffic reported on Osborne Road. This is now heading towards Wadeville, so please be on the lookout there as well. If you were traveling in Spruitview, we've got delays on the N3 North. This is between Leondale Road and Heidelberg Road, and heading towards Bedford View, queuing traffic along the N3 North. This is between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road. And then traveling in the far west of Joburg, Witboki, we've got an accident reported on Main Reef Road. It happened right near Collet Avenue. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. Collet Avenue in itself towards Progress Road is also heavily backed up. So traveling within the Laratong Hospital as well as Witboki area, please be on the lookout there and try to avoid. We'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Play, win, Jigizinto. It's a whole new ball game with Sizekaya, the new official national lottery operator. We're making your favorite game great again with match play. Predict, play and win from the outcomes of different matches across soccer, rugby and cricket at halftime or full time. Enjoy more games, enjoy more moments, enjoy more chances to win big. A new chapter begins with Sizekaya, 1 June 2026.
702.
The Big Interview.
It's 16 minutes past 7 o'clock. Here's a question for you. Do you own a firearm? Are you thinking of buying one perhaps? Well, there's been a massive increase in the number of firearm license applications. Figures show there has been a steady increase in firearm applications over the past 15 years, especially the last 5 years. Now, the draft Firearms Control Amendment Bill saw a sharp reaction from many people because it stated that self-defense was not a sufficient reason to own a firearm. And I think it got many people really angry. But that was referred back for consultation. So it's not that that's driving it, or perhaps it's that people feel there's a window period now. Why are South Africans seeing a need to buy a firearm? Are the police and private security simply not enough to protect them? Well, joining us is Dr. Stanley Maposa, who's the Executive Director for Gun Free South Africa. Dr. Stanley, hi. Good to have you on 702.
Thank you so much, Ray. I really appreciate the opportunity to have me on 702.
You know, it's such a controversial topic talking about firearms, but why the increase in firearm applications since, I think, 2020? Let's take it from there.
Well, Ray, there are several reasons that are overlapping factors that are likely to have caused the increase in the firearm application. First of all, is the policy signals that influence behaviors of the consumers in South Africa repeatedly. As we have indicated, from 2015, when the draft Firearms Control Bill was proposed, to 2021, when it was discussed and submissions were made, and now in 2025, when such periods happen, people perceive uncertainty, and the prospective owners begin to accelerate their applications. And secondly, it's fear. Fear and insecurity are main drivers. You know, people remain fearful about the high violence in the society, and many people, you know, are no longer trusting the state's ability to prevent violence effectively.
Yeah.
And then thirdly, you know, the July 2021 unrest caused many people to think that people can defend themselves as they saw those happenings within the 2021 unrest. However, you know, the broader evidence suggests that the widespread presence of firearms in civilian hands contributed to lethality even during that particular time. And the fourth thing is the administrative and legal factors. You know, the 2020 Supreme Court of Appeal judgment, which shows that some licenses that have expired need to be updated and renewed.
Right.
is an opportunity for some to begin to renew the application. So together, the increase reflects a combination of perceived insecurity, policy signaling, as well as behavior response and administration.
Doctor, it used to be very difficult to get a firearm because when you applied for it and you went for that license, it was near impossible to get one. It seems to be easier to obtain a firearm license. Am I correct?
I don't think it's easier because, there are a lot of processes before you get the license, the competency and all that. So it's really an issue of defining the need and the ability to own and to use and to possess the firearm that is questioned in the process. And it's not always the point that all applications that we see will result in the firearm being given. There are many processes that one has to go through.
Right. Okay. There's also the school of thought that the more civilians who have firearms, the more criminals will now have firearms because it's very easy to steal them. Is there a correlation between the two?
Yes, definitely. The risk of firearms being stolen, the firearms being lost is very high. The data that SAPS has and many people would have been following for 15 years show that 22 firearms were lost or stolen every single day. In 2024-25 alone, civilians lost over 7,000 firearms compared to 572 that were lost by the police. And that ratio shows 22 versus 2 per day, 2 by police and 22 by civilians. And when we talk civilians, we talk individual owners plus security personnel losing these firearms. And therefore, the more the firearms are there to the civilians, the higher the risk for those diversions and the losses that we are talking about.
Yeah. You spoke about competency tests, and you have to go for that. You have to study, and you have to do the whole competency test beforehand. But is it a fact that this is because people are careless with their firearms? They're not competent enough to have a firearm because they are left lying around, or even worse, they're left in a safe, where they should be, but somebody breaks in. And if someone's standing over you with a firearm, you can't get to that safe. I mean, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it?
You are very right. The evidence that we have is that a victim that is armed is 5 times more likely to be shot at than the one that doesn't have. And the one that draws first is the one that kills the other one. So if an intruder comes in and you are not ready, you are likely then to be shot than if you didn't have. And you're talking about the storage issues that need to be in place. And children should not just be gun-proof. Say, don't do this, don't do that, because they experiment and they end up even knowing where the keys are. And there's a lot of danger that then happens to the children. There is also the issue of domestic violence. If the intimate partner is armed, that domestic violence turns out to be femicide, and lethality increases where there is a weapon in a domestic violence.
Yeah, where there's a firearm involved. Doctor, where do we stand with the draft Firearms Control Amendment Bill? And I remember this bill coming to the fore and saying you don't need to have self-defense to qualify for a reason for a firearm. Where's the bill now? Is it being redrafted? Is it consultation? Where do we stand?
The bill is currently being discussed, and it's discussed at NADLAC. And from there, it will move to Parliament, and then people will give another opportunity for another parliamentary submission, and it will move then through all the processes that it is supposed to be moving. So people must wait for that opportunity and be able to make submissions again and participate rather than to pray at the end, but to make the submission and contributions as to what they want to see South Africa becoming.
Have in it. So do we need to take something out of it, or do we need to add to it? And also, what do you think about the whole thing that self-defense is not a good enough reason to own a firearm?
That's a critical thing. I think the critical thing really is that the amendment bill should primarily look at public safety, and it should also be able to align South Africa with some of the protocols that the country has signed, especially the SADC protocol that ensures that there should be less and less firearms in the hands of the civilians. There's a lot of evidence that when we have a good legislation and that legislation is properly implemented, death by firearms reduces. Between 2000 and 2010, we saw a decline from 34 people dying per day to about 18 of them, and therefore this legislation must reduce the loopholes that are already there. The regulatory loopholes. It must also deal with the witch compliance enforcement. It must also address the central firearms registry that is currently dysfunctional. It must also ensure that there is adequate tracing of the firearms and address the corruption vulnerabilities as well. You have seen and heard from the Madlanga Commission as well as the other committee how much corruption is there in the firearms in particular. There is also poor relicensing oversight. From 2022, the renewals of the license have gone down to about 74%, and that's very high. So that legislation must address that and ensure that there is also enough of firearms recovery, especially the illegal ones.
Doctor, these sound like administrative problems. These sound like police problems. This looks like corruption and maladministration, not so much the draft firearms control amendment bill. Why try and fix it on that end? Should we not be fixing what's happening within our police and stop firearms going missing? One of the biggest problems is if somebody goes and hands in a firearm, one of the biggest criticisms is, I'll go and hand in my firearm. I don't want it anymore, but it's going to be used in a crime within that year because it's been sold to somebody else. It's not been registered. It will be used by a criminal very soon. Is that accurate?
I think we should do both. You can't just allow the tap to be running while you are trying to mop the floor. So it's both sides. While you are recovering the illegal firearms and ensuring that you are dealing with the governance issues that you are talking about, you must also have a tight law, a law that does not allow the leakages, the stealing, the corruption, and all those things. So it's both sides really. We can't just be one-sided and say the police must put their house in order alone. But all of us as members of the society must be playing our role, including the reporting of the illegal firearms that we see ourselves as members of the public all over. We know we see. And therefore, if you are not reporting and you are not telling the story, you are an accomplice to the issue. And therefore, all of us must be playing the role and not just pointing the fingers on one direction.
Yeah. Dr. Stanley Maposa will have to leave it there, I'm afraid. Executive Director for Gun Free South Africa. I think that's the big concern. While people are being told, don't get a gun, it's dangerous, or let's not give out licenses, let's clamp down on the public. On the other hand, you have criminals who are getting well armed from police stations which are leaky and people managing to get firearms through, corrupt officials, etc., etc. It's such a massive problem. What has been your experience when applying for a firearm? Have you found that a very interesting process, or have you battled? Or alternatively, are you trying to get rid of your firearm? I'd like to hear what you have to say. 072-702-1702.
EWN Business.
28 minutes past 7 o'clock. Right, Mateo, Quantum Foods reporting a 13% increase in profit to 232 million rand. Good on them.
Yeah, we know how the chicken and egg producers have suffered, especially in the past year because of that bird flu outbreak. Most of them are just recovering from the battering they took then. Quantum Foods reporting a 13% increase in interim profit to 232 million rand for the 6 months ended in in March. This was despite a 5% drop in their revenue, Ray. The company projects a significantly more challenging second half of the year, though, citing the escalating Middle East war and its adverse effects on global supply chains as major threats to input costs. You also remember that, of course, it's not just oil that passes through there, but things like fertilizer as well. So a lot of the agri farmers and also manufacturers being hit by that particular fact. South African revenue declined 6.9% for Quantum Foods, but it was buffered by a 21.8% revenue increase in the rest of the African operations. Ongoing conflict is restricting global natural gas supplies and shipping routes because about 30% of global fertilizer shipments move through the Strait of Hormuz. These disruptions also affecting Quantum Foods.
Right, speaking of the Straits of Hormuz, and I'm battling a little bit with Donald Trump versus the Iranians because he says they're very close to a deal. The deal is in sight, and then the Iranians have said last night, well, he has a problem with reality. So, I mean, this has affected the oil price anyway, hasn't it?
Yeah, Ray. I think for now, it's all going to be based on sentiment, right?
Okay.
There are no facts on the table that this negotiation will go through, but a lot of the market going off of what the president, the U.S. President Donald Trump is saying, but also, what Iran also has to say. The price of oil dropping below $100 a barrel this morning purely on that sentiment. Reports that the crucial Strait of Hormuz may reopen soon pushed oil prices down and lifted investor sentiment. President Donald Trump on his Truth Social post saying that negotiations with Iran were proceeding in an orderly and constructive manner, adding that he had told his representatives not to rush into a deal because they do have time. So oil prices are falling more than 5% then after the U.S. president's comments, easing pressure on investors. Our prices had climbed sharply after the Trump administration imposed a blockade on Iranian ports, and while Tehran itself effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz, and that strangling of that strait really affecting all the countries around the world.
Hectic. How's the rand?
The rand good this morning, up more than 0.5% against the US dollar, 16 rand 33 there, at 19 rand against the euro, 22 rand 1 cent against the British pound. Price of gold also up 1%, $4,565 an ounce, or platinum is also strong by close to 2% now at $1,966. Brent crude down 9% this morning, $94 a barrel.
Sure.
Business after 8.
Thanks, Mateo. Bringing the time to 7:31. And this Eyewitness News is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on your car insurance if you don't ask them for 500 Rand. Right, Bali, big problems at the Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital.
That's correct, Ray. A very good morning. The head of internal medicine at that hospital says corruption continues to cripple the facility. Adam Mohammed spoke to the Sunday Times after the public protector released findings into alleged maladministration at the hospital. Mohammed blew the whistle in 2022 after a fire severely damaged the storeroom and several blocks. In the public protector's report, it was found that there has been underspending, delays in repair work and weak financial controls. Jabulile Mbata has more.
The head of internal medicine at Charlotte Maxeke, Adam Mohammed, says he will be leaving public health because of how dysfunctional the system is. He said at Charlotte Maxeke, senior positions remain unfilled, which compromised the functionality of the departments. He adds that large sections of the hospital are not operating, while there is still a lack of infrastructure. This is while the public protector's report revealed poor project management and delays in repairs to this day. The report adds that the Auditor General will examine how funds were managed. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News.
Eskom in the Western Cape says work is continuing to restore electricity to areas affected by power outages. This follows two severe storms that hit the province 2 weeks ago. The storms downed many power lines and damaged other infrastructure. Camry Clark has more.
Eskom says the full rebuild of the main high-voltage line between Boskloof and Rumansrivier in the Cape Winelands is set to get underway, with completion expected by Friday, 19 June. Additional work is also underway in areas including Hex River, Rawsonville and Witzenberg. In the Garden Route, 60% of the Langkloof network was restored by yesterday, while Harkeville remains without power and is expected back online by Saturday. In the Overberg, Onrus has been fully restored, while Elgin, Papisvlei and Stanford are due to be reconnected this week. Eskom spokesperson in the Western Cape, Kyle Cookson.
Eskom teams remain on the ground, working to restore power safely and as quickly as possible, and we thank our customers for the continued patience.
On the West Coast, Eskom says restoration is progressing well in Lutzville and Citrusdal, but severe network damage in Algeria means there's no confirmed time frame for power to be restored. Cam Ray Clark, Eyewitness News.
And US President Donald Trump has tempered expectations of a Middle East deal, saying that he has told his negotiators not to rush. His comments come despite both Tehran and Washington signaling progress towards an agreement to end the war. The United States and Iran have observed a ceasefire since April, while mediators push for a negotiated settlement. The war erupted after the United States and Israel attacked Iran in February, and Iran responded with missile and drone attacks across the Gulf region. A partly cloudy Monday expected across Gauteng today, lows of between 5 and 8 degrees and highs of between 21 and 23.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 South in the city of Tshwane. An accident has been reported. It happened right near Rigel Avenue. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. There's also queuing traffic along the N4 West between Tamboti Avenue and the Priv Plus interchange.
The top story in EWN, the head of internal medicine at the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital says corruption continues to cripple that facility.
Outsurance can't improve your golf handicap, but they could improve the car insurance premium you currently pay. Get a quote today, and if Outsurance can't save you money on your car insurance premium, ask for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get a quote and get savings or cash. Either way, you win. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
The world's best male and female paddle players are coming to South Africa. The historic Premier Paddle Pretoria P1 will be at Sunbet Arena Times Square from 26 July to the 2nd of August. Expect world-class action, unbelievable energy, premium hospitality, and an atmosphere unlike anything South African sport has seen before. This is Africa's biggest paddle tournament ever, and tickets are selling fast. Don't miss your chance to witness the sport's biggest stars in South Africa. Get your tickets now at primemediaplus.com. Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car, and some cars say, I rented the car. Sani 6 to rent a car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani 6 on sani.co.za.
Switching was so quick and easy. I'm happy with the premium that I'm paying now.
Outsurance business insurance clients know that it pays to switch. And did you know you could get a guaranteed premium for 12 months even if you claim? For electrical, tradesman services and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Not every change feels like a choice. Some arrive as disruption. Shift Happens with Richard Sutton is a podcast about those moments where life moves first and you have to catch up. When certainty disappears, direction blurs, and everything familiar starts to shift. You'll hear stories from people who faced change, doubt, and pressure and found a way forward. Their stories give us confidence. Living vicariously through their experience gives us hope, and we learn from their journeys. Because what feels like an ending is often the beginning of something else. Shift Happens weekly on primemediaplus.com, the Prime Media Plus app, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Powered by First Light, therapeutics for the modern mind.
702. WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Good morning, Mr. Ray. Good morning. On the firearm, I do own one. And I always tell people that no matter how careful I am with a firearm, when the intruders come into my house, when they come, I'm not saying if, I know the world is so corrupt and there's criminals. The day they come, I will never ever remember what is in front of me. I will only be thinking what I'm protecting behind me.
Morning, Ray. I applied for my firearm license
6 months ago. And I feel the direction we're heading into a country at the moment is already total lawlessness. So I have to protect myself and my family.
Yeah, talking this morning about firearms, and our interview just after 7:15, our big interview, was about an increase in firearm licenses. Now, I asked the question, why is this? Why is it that we've seen this massive increase in firearm license applications? And a lot of people are saying, I'm looking at the WhatsApp line as well, a lot of people are saying they need to protect themselves. The only thing is, if you get a firearm, it's such a massive responsibility. I've got children in the house, and that's the last thing I want is for one of my children to go get the keys for the safe. I don't have a firearm. I'll tell you right now, I don't have one because I'm so scared that that'll happen. But you're right in what you're saying. You have to protect yourself. But that draft amendment bill, the way it's coming at the moment, says that self-defense is not a reason to get a firearm. Keep your WhatsApps coming, 072-702-1702. Just a note, that interview with the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Valenkosini Hlabisa, it's not going to happen this morning, I'm afraid. He's driving in an area where the cell phone footage is just, reception rather, is just really, really, really bad. So we'll try to get back to that maybe later in the show, or at least later on this week.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question? Brought to you by Outsurance. It's your chance now to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little bit later on, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. And if you don't, ask Outsurance for 500 Rands in cash. Right, let's get us an answer then. Bonge Kile, hi, good morning. Phoning from Krugersdorp. What then is your answer?
1963.
Oh, that's a nice one. It's a really, really nice one. Have you received or been given a quote by Outsurance?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. You got 1,000 Rands on its way to you. Bongekile, I love it. The answer is 1963. What then is the question? I'll take the 8th correct caller this morning.
EWN Sport.
Right, Cindy Paluta, celebrations.
Yeah.
In fact, we should have had a public holiday today, I think, but that's just me. I think the unions are saying, calm down, Ray, calm down. But, what's so much to celebrate?
Well, Ray, you know me and how I feel about a 4-day week. I think it's the way forward. So, yes, I'll call for that. But, yeah, Mamelodi Sundowns added a second Champions League start to their jersey. Last night's 1-1 draw with AS FAR, in which Mokoena cancelled out Remati's opening penalty, gave Sundowns the 2-1 aggregate win. Coach Miguel Cardozo.
Indeed, it's a sensation of proud. Last 2 years have been very difficult as an experience to be on this day on the other side. And last year I saw tears in my players, and a few of them, they knew that we promised each other that we would have again tears, but it would be from joy and not from sadness.
Sundowns are the champs of Africa, but not South Africa. The title belongs to Orlando Pirates. Pirates coach Abdeslam Wadu, though, not sure if he'll stay on as a manager.
This job is very difficult. It's very difficult. You need all this capacity, this psychological capacity, the motivation to lead such project. I have to sit, to think, to speak with my fantastic and honest management people. It's not about contract. It's not about money. It's about energy. You need energy to lead this project.
I actually really feel for him because he's been through a lot. It's so intense. And I get his psyche. I get what he's saying, that I don't know if I want to carry on doing this. I think maybe take a week off, then take a decision. I don't know.
I think it's also a great time to ask for a pay increase.
There's that too,
right?
yeah.
Premier League wrapped with champions Arsenal beating Palace 2-1. Runners-up Man City had Pep Guardiola's farewell ruined in a 2-1 loss to Villa. Bruno Fernandes now holds the record for 21 goal assists in one season as Man United beat Brighton 3-0. Liverpool said goodbye to Mo Salah in a 1-1 draw with Brentford.
It's very tough to leave a place like this. Also, yesterday I cried a bit in the training ground. I'm not really emotional guy. You guys don't see that in the media that much. You always see me tough, aggressive, but inside me I think like a baby. We lived our youth here, sharing everything from the beginning until the end. We wouldn't even dream of what we had. We did it for this club. We put it back where it belonged.
At the bottom, West Ham beat Leeds 3-0 but are still relegated with Wolves and Burnley after Tottenham Hotspur beat Everton. Kimi Antonelli won the Canadian Grand Prix, the first F1 driver to claim his first 4 wins consecutively. Antonelli tussled with George Russell, who retired on lap 30 with a power unit problem. Hamilton overtook Verstappen to finish second. Antonelli now leads the Drivers' Championship by 43 points.
Not really the way I wanted to win, if I have to be honest, because it was a tough fight with George and it was very intense, fun, but I think it would have been cool to see how it would have ended up. We were like going at each other, like we were pushing. For sure, it was a tough battle, it was intense, and of course I felt sorry for him, but of course we'll take the win and now we move forward.
In golf, South African Richard Stoney won the Soudal Open. A final round 66 saw him finish 18 under, 2 ahead of the field. At the first day at Roland Garros, saw 7th seed Taylor Fritz knocked out. Djokovic needed 4 sets to advance. No problem for the 2nd seed Zverev. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Ready for the wild? In Zambia, adventure is calling. Track lions on safari. Glide past elephants on the Zambezi River. And experience nature, raw and real. Then discover the thunderous beauty of Musia Tunya at Victoria Falls. Zambia, let's explore. Start your adventure at www.zambia.travel.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie, walk the talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
That's Sia, before he got naked. Sia had a bumper bash and had to reattach his fender using duct tape and a prayer. So Sia got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance in seconds and can now submit claims instantly on the Naked app. No more arts and crafts for you, Sia. Cover your car and home now at naked.insure and see how easy insurance can be when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Hi South Africa, I'm Michael Owen. If you appreciate world-class sport and a great occasion, the Hollywood Bets Durban July is the place to be. The theme for 2026 is Country Allure, which sees the rustic style of the countryside meet the cosmopolitan cool of the city. On Saturday the 4th of July, it all comes together at Hollywood Bets Greyville, Africa's greatest horse racing and social event. I'll see you there.
EWN Traffic.
14 minutes to 8 o'clock. This EWN Traffic brought to you by the House of Citroen. The all-new Citroen Basalt is here. Book a test drive at citroen.co.za. There were delays in Boksburg. There was that earlier crash on the N3. What's happening now?
Well, Ray, we still have got delays along the N17 West. This is between Osborne Road and Heidelberg Road. Roadworks are causing these delays. And speaking of roadworks, please be on the lookout for more that are taking place along the M1 North, right near Empire Road. And there's still peak time delays along the M1 North. This is now between the Killarney Bends and the Grayston Drive off-ramp. If you were traveling on the M1 South, bumper-to-bumper traffic as well between the Baklu Interchange and Marlborough Drive. Leaving the city of Tshwane this morning, do expect a bit of a stop-and-go situation. This is along the between the Braakfontein Interchange and Olifantsfontein Road. There's 2 major accident scenes along the N1 South, and then, of course, roadworks that are taking place right near Olifantsfontein Road. So please be a bit patient this morning. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The all-new Citroen Basalt is here with keyless entry, wireless Apple and Android CarPlay. It's made to look good and make life easy. And that 470-litre boot, it's ready for every outfit change. And then some. The all-new Citroen Basalt Coupe SUV from 354,900 Rand. Register now for limited launch deal assist of up to 40,000 Rand. Book a test drive today at citroen.co.za. T's and C's apply.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question's brought to you by Outsurance. It's your chance now to win 2,000 Rand. And Bonga Kile gave us the answer being 1963. What then is the question? And I said I'd take the 8th correct person. So I'll be very fair about this, because I can see on my screen there are many people who have got it right. So I'm going to go up to number 8, and that's Michelle. Hi, Michelle. If I said to you the answer is 1963, what then is the question?
Morning, Ray and the listeners. The question would be, in which year did the Organization of Africa Unity inaugurate Africa Day?
There we go. And you're a member of Outsurance, I see on my screen. Michelle, you've won 2,000 Rand. How does that sound? There we go. Michelle in Krugersdorp winning 2,000 Rand in cash, courtesy, of course, of Outsurance. And if your bank was becoming too expensive, you'd switch, right? So why pay more for car insurance? Switching to Outsurance saved 32-year-old Parushka a whopping 729 Rand on her 2020 Havel H2. Get a quote now, and if Outsurance can't give you money, ask for 500 Rand or 1,500 Rand if you're being claim-free. And with the same insurer for 3 years. Do it now. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. A licensed insurer. And FSP, T's and C's and information online.
It's game day, and the family's facing off against the Snotties and Flemmies. Dad's down! Blocked sinus and mucus is gaining ground!
New game plan. Let's bring in the ACC team. With ACC, Mom's got the winning play. Entering the field, ACC helps break down mucus and clear the airways. Choose the winning team when you're facing Snotties and Flemmies. If it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
Mom, I know what I want to be when I grow up.
Oh, really?
I want to be an astronaut.
An astronaut? Aren't you aiming a little high?
Well, that's where you come in. I need you to buy me Pediasure. It has 27 vitamins and minerals to support my growth so that I hit all the milestones, and it's scientifically proven.
Okay, Miss Clever. Where can I buy Pediasure?
It's available at pharmacies and retailers in South Africa.
Pediasure by Abbott. Approved by kids to fuel their dreams.
Let's hear from Shemaine, owner of Vovotello Linwood, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
I wish we had switched sooner. Not only was it quick and easy, but also gave us more favorable premiums.
For restaurants, pharmacies, and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Good morning, Kabazela. Happy Monday.
Dear and happy Monday to you too.
We've been celebrating all things soccer today, but something not to celebrate. What happened to our luggage? And this is something that happens to most of us some of the time.
I must say it's never happened to me, thankfully.
You're lucky.
But
You're lucky.
this couple, the night before their planned trip, so they were driving all the way from Texas to go and catch a cruise ship, right? And they get there and they realize that they left the luggage at home. And what they did was, instead of taking his case and her case, they decided to pack all in one case. And then probably decided, okay, well, he'll take the luggage and put it in the car. And maybe he was like, oh, because she will take the luggage and put it in the car. And
Oh, no.
none of them did at the end of the day. So they arrived at their destination and they realized, oops, we don't have any bags with us. So like, what do we do? Do we go on? Do we not? Do we turn around? So they decided to go on the boat, and they would have to buy new clothes for the boat. So I mean, pretty difficult one, because I think on some of these cruises, sometimes for dinner you have to be maybe a little bit formal. So on a cruise line, you might be a little limited in terms of what you can buy, but also another additional expense. So not a nice thing to happen, I suppose, on the start of your holiday.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask our 702 family about, let's say, I don't know if anybody has done that before, where you've left your luggage at home. I'm sure the first two things you make sure that you have is your passports and your bags. And the kids. Remember Home Alone? They left the one
Very
kid at
important,
home.
the kids,
Yes.
Very important.
Yes.
But also as well, has an airline lost your luggage? That's the other thing as well.
That's the one, yeah. And if they have, and you've arrived at your destination, how long did it take for your baggage to be reunited with you? And what did you do in the meantime? I mean, you've only got one pair of underpants, one pair of socks, one shirt and one pair of pants or shorts. So what did you do? Did you have to go and buy a new wardrobe for the holiday, or did you just wait until it arrived?
Exactly. It's happened to some of us. They've lost my luggage before. Got it back eventually, but it did go missing. Your second one, good morning, did you? What is that all about?
This, I don't know. Some people just, they're not nasty. It's not coming from a nasty place, but they kind of, the first thing that comes into their brain, they say. So this man was outside of his house on the pavement, and he was using a leaf blower, just, blowing or sucking up some leaves. And one of the neighbors from across the street was walking, and she comes up over to him. Now, this was caught on their CCTV footage outside their home. And she says, "Is that you?" And he says, "Yes." And he's like, I saw you from over there, and I didn't realize if it was you or not. Did you put on weight?
Oh, ow, ouch.
And he's like,
ouch.
Yeah, I did. I put on some. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, because, I didn't think it was you, but it is you."
Oh, no.
I don't know, hey, right? I mean, yes, this weekend I was playing club champs at Copperleaf.
Yeah?
And afterwards, after the round, the one guy says to the other playing partner, "Geez, you've got like this weird, ugly swing, and I'm so surprised that you hit the ball so well."
No, come on.
But he didn't say it in a nasty way,
Yeah.
but he was just saying, really, you've got a terrible swing, but it ends up going where the ball should. So what is the most inappropriate thing that somebody has said to you, but they weren't being ugly? They didn't want to be ugly or nasty to you, but it just, it was something that they kind of thought instantly, and they said it out loud. And you were like, really? You want to say that to me?
Sure. And people do that. Right, 072 702 1702.
EWN Traffic.
5 minutes to 8 o'clock. This EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on your car insurance if you don't ask them for 500 Rand. Oh, well, how's the traffic?
Well, I stop and go, Ray, along the N1 South between the Brockfontein Interchange and Olifantsfontein Road. That's obviously because of an earlier accident, as well as roadworks near the Olifantsfontein off-ramp. Please be on the lookout there. We'll have more details coming up.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen can't help with your child's school project, but they can help you get to the stationery shop in time. Seeing them on your route just makes you feel better. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so everyone gets where they need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, show them some love online using pointsman or hashtag pointsman love, a licensed insurer and FSP.
702 Feedback
with Rupfiwa Kone.
Rupfiwa, have you ever said something that was totally inappropriate by mistake?
Maybe when I was much younger and I didn't know how it would land to the next person. However, since I've grown up, I know how to now
navigate a little bit better.
Yes, navigate a little bit better and not say things which are offensive. And most importantly, not say things I wouldn't want said to me.
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, I've got two good friends, and my one friend's the neighbor, you see, and he's got a bulldog. And my other friend pitched up and said, "Oh, look at your other friend," and went over and said, people look just like their dogs. The owner looks just like their dogs. And this guy looked to me and said, "Ray, really? Like, really?" I mean, he's got the ugliest of bulldogs. And there was my poor friend just like looking at me saying,
that is quite
"Who's
sad.
this guy you got standing next to you?" But anyway.
That is quite unfortunate, Ray. However, we've got lots of reaction coming through about this weekend's big football moments with Orlando Pirates finally ending their 14-year wait, crowned the Premiership champions. And after we had a little bit of a celebratory mode for the fans in studio as well, we thought it might just be right to also acknowledge Mamelodi Sundowns, who once again showed why they were once the continent's giant after lifting the CAP champion. Let's celebrate with them for a moment.
go to YouTube right now, you'll see a whole lot of Buccaneers supporters dancing to the song. It's something I never thought I would see in this lifetime, but yes, here we are.
Of course, Ray. And also, we are celebrating Africa Day today, and many listeners are also reflecting on the continent's potential, saying Africa remains one of the richest and most resourceful regions in the world. And others say that there should be a greater focus on intercontinental travel, trade, culture, and education, so Africans can learn more about one another and better appreciate diversity, history, and talent. And this is an opportunity that exists within the continent. So we do have a few tracks we wanted to commemorate Africa Day with today.
Africa unite, 'cause we're moving right out of Babylon, and we're going to our father's land. Yeah.
Sure, born on this day in 1963, the OAU became the AU later on, of course, African Day. Rofiwa, thank you very much, Rofiwa Corner. There we go. Well, coming up in the next hour or so, talking about your reaction to some of the things we've been speaking about. And Africa Day, it is today. We'd like to hear from you. Where have you gone in Africa and you thought this is the best place in the world? Where is your Africa highlight? Or perhaps you want to go there as well. Perhaps you're thinking to yourself, I really want to go to this place. Which is it? We need an explanation. 072 702 1702. It's 8 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Justice cluster to meet as anti-illegal migration protests continue and Philippines building collapse death toll continues to rise. Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster is due to hold an urgent meeting today to discuss the rising protests against undocumented migrants in the country. South Africa has seen a wave of demonstrations in the recent weeks, with some locals accusing those who are in the country illegally of being behind the country's crime and unemployment crisis. The demonstrations have also seen shops and businesses in parts of the country being forced to shut down. Khomotso Modise reports.
The meeting is set to be held at the Union Buildings and will be attended by all ministers in the security cluster and senior officials responsible for national security in the country. The ministers will also meet to finalize a framework on the National Action Plan to fight racism, racial discrimination and xenophobia. They'll also meet with political parties and various groups that have been leading community marches against illegal foreign nationals across the country. The cluster says the aim of the meeting is to establish rules of engagement during the protests and to discuss government initiatives set out to address illegal immigration. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
At the same time, the Ghana High Commission has started processing its nationals who are seeking to return home following rising tensions over illegal migration. Yesterday, the first group was processed by Home Affairs and immigration officials ahead of the planned departure on Wednesday. Another group is also set to leave and is scheduled to be processed today and tomorrow. Limakatso Lushoro reports.
Social media platforms have been inundated with posts from South Africans expressing growing frustrations over government's perceived failure to curb illegal immigration. Some have blamed undocumented migrants for the high levels of crime, unemployment, and the spread of drugs. As a result of the demonstration, the Ghana High Commission is now processing applications by some of those who say they want to return home. One 58-year-old man says he has lived in South Africa for more than 20 years. He says he initially entered the country on a tourist visa before later obtaining asylum documentation following what he described as a family dispute in Ghana. When asked whether he had abused South Africa's asylum system, he blamed the Department of Home Affairs.
Why didn't they tell me, okay, we can offer you a permit? And they offered me a permit. So it's their fault, it's not my fault. Like if they deny me, I'll go back.
Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
SANParks has implemented additional risk mitigating measures after 2 tourists were found dead at the Kruger National Park. Their bodies were discovered on Friday near a river in the Pafuri section of the park. That section shares a combined border with Zimbabwe and Mozambique. An investigation has been launched to determine the full circumstances surrounding those deaths. SANParks spokesperson JP Lowe says they are addressing risks in specific areas of concern.
These actions will reinforce our ongoing commitment to visitor safety as well as operational readiness. In specific terms, they include the deployment of additional monitoring and ranger resources in specific areas of concern, as well as enhancing technology systems that are intended to strengthen surveillance and early warning capabilities.
A suspected kingpin linked to fraud in the KwaZulu-Natal's flood disaster relief fund is expected to appear in the Durban Magistrates Court today. The Provincial Transport Department says the suspect was arrested for allegedly illegally gaining access to emergency housing funds meant for flood victims in the province. Spokesperson Dabezinhle Sibia says a specialized unit has been investigating corruption within human settlements, including the sale of RDP houses.
Game over for the perpetrators of fraud and corruption in the allocation of funds earmarked for the building of houses for the needy communities. In particular, there are mayors, councillors and officials who have bypassed the department and clandestinely rushed to hand over houses and title deeds to unqualified individuals.
And in the Philippines, the death toll following a building collapse in the capital has risen to 3, with 17 people still missing. The 9-story building, which was still under construction, collapsed yesterday, also hitting a nearby hotel. Those who are still missing are mostly construction workers who were sleeping at the building site when disaster struck. The cause of the collapse is still not known. Officials said up to 70 people were employed at the construction site, though most had gone home for the weekend. Gold is trading at $4,566.41 an ounce. The rand is at 16.35 to the dollar, 22.04 to the pound, 19.03 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $99.61 a barrel.
And in the traffic in Midrand, there's been an accident. It's really a major one on the N1 North. It happened near New Road, delays from Allendale Road. There's also queuing traffic along Pretoria Main Road. This is due to people trying to avoid the backlog on the N1 South, and this is heading towards the Woodmead area while traveling in 4 ways. Another accident seen on the N1 North that happened after Winnie Mandela Drive, causing delays.
And in your sport, Mamelodi Sundowns win the CAF Champions League, beating AS FAR in aggregate 2-1. Orlando Pirates coach Abdeslam Wadu not sure he'll stay on despite the team's league win. Man City said goodbye to Pep. Salah left Liverpool, while at the bottom, Spurs fight to stay up as they relegated West Ham. And Kimi Antonelli, the first driver in F1 history to claim his first 4 wins consecutively.
A partly cloudy Monday expected across Gauteng today, temperatures peaking at a high of between 21 and 23 degrees. The top story in EWN, the Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster is due to hold an urgent meeting to discuss the rising protests against undocumented migrants in the country.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
702 on 92.7 and 106 FM.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And on DSTV channel 856.
It is 7 minutes past 8 o'clock. Good morning from me, Ray White, in for Bongles this morning. He'll be back with you on your airways tomorrow morning for your Tuesday edition of The Breakfast Show. Big stories in Eyewitness News. Our ministers meeting at the Union buildings today to discuss the protests against illegal immigration. I mean, today, guys, is Africa Day. It's so important. It's Africa Day. Born in 1963, we had the OAU, now we have the AU, and yet in our country we have so much tension. African ambassadors are not attending today's Africa Day celebrations in Northwest, citing the treatment of foreigners in our country. Do we need to look a little bit closer, I think, to how we are treating our African brothers and sisters? It's Africa Day today. What needs to happen to resolve the overall situation? There is massive anger against those in our country illegally, and I get it. We need to have jobs. We need to have a situation where we can stand up for ourselves as South Africans and we can prosper. But for those who are here legally, and for ambassadors not to want to have a whole joining our festivities today, that does give us a little bit more pause for thought. I'd love to hear what you have to say about that one. Earlier on, we spoke about the rise in firearm applications, people getting firearms now, asking the question, why is this happening? And then also as well, talking shortly to News 24's Peter du Toit about the changing political landscape in our country. I'm looking forward to this. Author Max Cypria has written a book called The End of Normal and South Africa's Contested History. So I'll be talking to him about that one. So lots to look forward to. To give us a WhatsApp 072 702 1702.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
And let's take some calls. Nelson in Pretoria. Hi, Nelson.
Hi, good morning, Ray. How are you?
I'm good. Tell us, talking about owning a gun, I don't know, hey, I must admit, it scares me. It really scares me.
Ray, I am really worried when the government wants to take the rights of citizens to responsible gun ownership. Imagine, Ray, yourself being awoken by thugs 3:30 in the morning in your house where you're supposed to be safe. That's the experience I experienced. I want the doctor you had just to imagine that scenario. Should I, if I did not own a firearm, only God knows what would have happened. I live with teenage daughters, and honestly, I'm pro-gun ownership, responsible gun ownership. I feel the government should just tackle the illegal, because I'm not even sure there's a research that shows most of these murders are committed by licensed firearms. I doubt if it's like that.
Well, we were chatting to an expert earlier on, and he actually did say that. He said there's a big problem in those with licensed firearms, and if someone gets into your place and the licensed firearm is in the safe, that person will then just take it. I'll take you back to an experience I had about 5 years ago. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and a guy was standing over me with a gun in my face, and there was nothing I could do. He ransacked the house. He took what he wanted to take. I wasn't prepared to fight him because I didn't want to die for what? For a laptop and a cell phone. And I thought to myself, if I did have a firearm in the house, he would have taken that firearm and probably used it against me as well. But that was that situation. That was me. There are other situations. Teboho in Orchards. Hi. Teboho?
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We got you. Right, now, talking about firearms, your thoughts? Oh, no, hold on. No. You want to talk about killing me softly. Killing me softly. Well, that's just kind of the same thing, funny enough. Roberta Flack versus the... KG like that. Roberta Flack versus the Fugees. Which is your favorite?
I think Roberta Flack nailed it. Well, she's the original composer of it, and I think she nailed it. I love Roberta Flack's version more. I think the fusion made it more funky. And, if you want it more relaxed and well composed and, with innovative vocals, I'd go for Roberta Flack. That is why if I compare the songs, I said, Roberta Flack mastered it and Luther Van Ross perfected it too.
Yeah.
And Luther Van Ross performs it and it's so beautiful. The next beautiful thing after Roberta Flack. And the fusion came in and made it funky, and my daughter, I think, would love it. But as for me, I'll settle for Roberta Flack.
Roberta Flack it is. Okay, let's listen. Let's make up our minds.
I heard he sang a good song. I heard he had a style. And so I came to see him to listen for a while. And then
all right, that's Roberta Flack. Let's play the other one, the Fugees.
Strumming my pain with his fingers, singing my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly.
I think it's just the production, Mateo.
Yeah. When it comes to an original and a cover, I always compare them by imagining that they're in a movie. So as a score, I think Roberta Flack definitely works, because imagine a violent scene where people are shooting out and you play that Roberta Flack song.
That's true.
It becomes the perfect
That's
score,
really
right?
is quite true.
Yeah, that's always my measure.
Yeah.
So the original trumps, I think, this time.
All right, 702 Land. Which one do you like, A or B? Let us know.
EWN Traffic.
14 minutes past 8 o'clock. Right, I'm on the roads. How are we looking?
Well, Ray, we do have an accident in Midrand. This is on the N1 North right near the New Road exit. Delays coming out of Islandale Road. There's also queuing traffic heading towards Paulshof. This is along the N1 North between Winnie Mandela Drive and Rivonia Road, while traveling on the Mark 1 North. Another stop-and-go situation there due to peak time delays between Xavier Street and Grayston Drive. While heading towards Diepkloof, we've got an accident on the N12 West. It happened near the Uncle Charlie's interchanges, causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there and try to avoid. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
They say the early bird catches the worm. Great advice, unless you're the worm. Generic so-called wisdom doesn't work for everyone. So I settle for a financial plan that's one size fits some. Momentum accredited financial advisors take the time to get to really know your unique situation. Advice meets your context. Momentum, your journey to success. Momentum is part of Momentum Group Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Hey guys, this is Robert Marawa, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Playing responsibly is part of the winning strategy. Make smart choices and continue to score. If you or someone that you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
I want another puzzle from the crazy store. 1,000 perfect pieces, but then I saw so much more. I got slippers and a blanket to keep me warm at night. Sudoku and a coffee mug and fuzzy socks that fit just right.
That's crazy, crazy. That's the crazy store. Went in for one small thing, came out with so much more.
The crazy store. Hey, you never know what you might find.
The Money Show. Weekday evenings at 6.
On the next Money Show, we unpack the latest annual results, taking a closer look at the numbers from Pick n Pay, Netcare and Eltron and what they tell us about the broader state of our economy. And how I make my money, we sit down with Lorraine Landon, head of advertising solutions for Google in sub-Saharan Africa, to explore how she helps clients grow their digital maturity and, of course, expert analysis of the day's biggest business stories.
The Money Show
On 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by Absa Business Banking, featuring the AgriTrends 2026 Autumn Edition. In agriculture, smart moves need smart insights. Get the latest AgriTrends report at absaagritrends.co.za. Absa is a registered FSP.
Right, like I said, today is Africa Day, and as Africa Day is celebrated, many people are reflecting on Africa's strength, resilience, and vast potential, saying the continent should continue promoting greater intercontinental movement, trade, tourism, and cultural exchange so Africans can better appreciate what Africa has to offer. And fittingly, and I'm loving this, RMB Africa Focus returns for a 5th season, exploring Africa's economic resilience and growing strategic role in the global economy, while highlighting how countries across the continent are unlocking opportunity and positioning themselves in an evolving world. So catch RMB Africa Focus. It's every Thursday. You got to catch it this Thursday with our very own Crystal Alderson.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
So we're talking about Africa and we're talking about South Africa. And South Africa's history remains deeply contested. And a new book by veteran journalist Max du Preez has caught our eyes once again. It's called The End of Normal, Witness to the Unraveling of White Power. Now, Max du Preez, he's been, I don't know, ever since I've been a journalist, and before that, Max has been around. And he reflects on 50 years of journalism. And he's saying maybe it's time to ask some really critical questions about our history and the way things have played out, and misinformation and disinformation as well. So we thought we'd get somebody in the know. On the line is Peter du Toit. He's the News 24 assistant editor. Peter, hi. Good to chat to you once again.
Good morning, Ray. Good to be with you.
Now, looking at this book, and it's so interesting, looking at your analysis as well, and I was reading up what you said about it. You say it cuts through waves of misinformation. What do you mean by that?
Look, Ray, let me first say I read the book, finished it a week or so ago, and I do think it's one of the better books and one of the most important books of the year. I think the closer, or the farther rather, we move away from our 1994 moment, the transition away from apartheid to a constitutional democracy, the easier it becomes to lose sight of A, what we wanted to achieve, B, how we achieved the transition, and C, the roles of the individuals who were involved in that. Now, what I really enjoyed about Max's book, being a journalist and reading a journalist's book, is the fact that Max was there. Max was a journalist who was, not only did he have a front row seat to events, but he actually physically attended many of those events. He was there when the first shots rang out in 1976 in Soweto during the Soweto uprising. So it's that type of thing. Those events during the course of 50 years in journalism, which no one can dispute, but these days, with the advent of disinformation and misinformation, the way in which our transition is being presented by many actors and political role players on all sides of the political divide, it makes us forget where we come from, and it skews the transition away from apartheid to democracy, and I think that's dangerous. And I think what Max's book does, it cuts through the disinformation, the misinformation, the myopia, the way in which the transition is often presented, and that's from someone who was actually there, who experienced the build-up and the road to the transition, and certainly what happened after that.
Yeah, but things have totally changed. If you think back to after 1994, and I was a journalist back then as well, I worked for the SABC, and it was a different type of leadership. The Thabo Mbekis, Madiba Thabo Mbeki, going up and towards the year 2000, everything was totally different to what it is now. Have we forgotten our history?
I think there's a danger that we might, Ray. I think there's a danger that we might forget how turbulent the 1980s was. Increasingly there is and you mentioned Thabo Mbeki as well. That's a good example. So two things. One is there's increasingly people think of, not many, but there are people who think of the pre-1994 dispensation as a period or a time where the country functioned, where municipalities functioned and trains ran on time and buses ran on time, and it was, apart from this pesky little issue about black South Africans not having the right to vote, the country functioned. Now that's increasingly becoming a mantra for many people. Then the other thing is, people are increasingly saying, there's a desire and a hark back to the days of Mbeki, when Mbeki was this fantastic technocrat and president, where he oversaw the non-implementation of the ALV program, which led to the infection of hundreds of thousands of people, youth, kids. He did not want to engage Zimbabwe. When you think about before 1994, apartheid was a crime against humanity. The country was on the precipice of a civil war. It certainly was not a better period. And I think that what Max's book does, it puts the pre-1994 period, specifically for white South Africans, I think, into stark perspective, saying and arguing in that book that there was an artificial white world which he inhabited and many white South Africans inhabited, but that was not the real world. unfold. He argues in his book, and he writes about his experiences as a journalist, that the real politics was happening outside of the white parliament, the white suburbia. And then post 1994, he argues that the promise of what we sought to achieve after 1994 was in many instances betrayed, specifically by Jacob Zuma and specifically by the ANC's acquiescence to the state capture project. So that's the value, Ray, I'd argue, of a journalist who looks at historical events dispassionately and independent and unencumbered by ideological blinkering. We need to confront our history, and we need to be honest about it.
Yeah, be honest about it. But also as well, there's a reason why people have got to read this book. And it's important because not that people have forgotten, some just don't know.
Yes, and you know that's a failure of our education system.
Yeah.
You know, it's also a function, Ray, I'd argue, of the era and the time we're living in, where people get their news off social media by swiping left or swiping right or watching reels. You know, there's this dearth of insight and I think a refusal by many to really properly engage with current events and events as they unfold. The South Africa we live in is not an independent country of our past. You need to understand the past to understand why things are as they are now. And that's where Max's book, which is a book, it's not a TikTok post, it's not a tweet, it's a proper book that you have to sit with and engage with. But when you finish it, I'd argue you'd feel a much richer individual. You might not agree with everything, but that's the point of a book like that. It's a polemic. It's supposed to get people to think and engage and debate about where we are now and where we've come from and what mistakes were made.
Absolutely. Peter du Toit, thank you so much. News 24 assistant editor. The book is called The End of Normal, Witness to the Unraveling of White Power, and it's written by Max du Preez. It really, really, really is a good read.
702, The World View.
With Adam Gilchrist.
Morning, Adam.
Good morning, Ray. How are things?
I don't know. Deal or no deal? It sounds like one of those quiz shows. The Americans versus the Iranians. Where are we even with this?
Yeah, well, we were getting a bit excited, and oil prices had begun to drop because they were getting a bit excited at the forecourts and beyond. And indeed, Donald Trump told us that we were very close. The US Secretary of State told us significant progress had been made in the talks with Iran. And then we're told on Truth Social, inevitably, the American president saying, actually, talks have been constructive, but we must take our time and get it right. Do you know what? That's actually quite a statesman-like thing to have said. The American president telling us, be patient. No, they've got to make sure the details are correct, which is fair enough. 60-day ceasefire extension, the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, whatever Iran's nuclear ambitions are. It does feel like, I mean, there's no whooping or hollering yet about the end of a deal. It does feel like at the end of all of this, the 3-month war will have been to Iran's advantage rather than anyone else's. But maybe that's jumping the gun a bit.
Well, it's all about unblocking the Straits of Hormuz, which wasn't blocked to start with, but we'll just leave it there. So, yes. Your second story. India's cockroach party. Do please explain.
Yes, they are called the Cockroach Janta Party, and they've gone viral. They have 20 million online followers, just like that, all from a joke. The India Chief Justice basically compared unemployed young people in India to cockroaches. He later clarified he was actually referring to young people with fake and bogus degrees, not India's general youth. Too late. Offence taken, offence parodied, hence the creation of the Cockroach Political Party, basically saying, you can't treat us like insects. We are here. We are the youth of tomorrow, etc., etc. But you have to say, how many ethnic minorities, migrant communities, marginalized, put upon groups have been called cockroaches over the decades, if not the centuries. There is something deeply symbolic about a little bit of a bite back, albeit through what is essentially a kind of Mickey take. But good luck to the Cockroach Janta Party, albeit they've had their website taken down, so they're not best pleased about that.
No, I'm sure they're not. Right, the Enhanced Games. This is a story. The Enhanced Games.
Yes, they've just finished in the last hour or so in Las Vegas. Vegas feels like the right place for this. They were meant to have 1,000 athletes originally. That was Aaron D'Souza's idea when he created this or thought it up 4 years ago or so. They actually had 40 athletes in the end. Groundbreaking, controversial. They talk about making humans superhumans. It's all about the fact that you can take performance-enhancing drugs, whether steroids, peptides, hormone growth therapy, testosterone, stuff that is absolutely banned from the normal Olympics, but not actually technically illegal, is the point. But nonetheless, it's not exactly a level playing field. And so in this competition of swimming, track athletics, weightlifting and strongman competitions, yes, there was medical supervision, and lots of prize money. But what was the point? One guy has walked away with $1 million, Christian Gkolmiev, because he broke the world 50 meters freestyle swimming record, except, of course, it doesn't count. So what is the point?
Oh, now that's crazy, crazy, crazy. Why would you even want to do that? That's Adam Gilchrist and the World View.
EWN Business.
Oh, it's results season. It certainly is, Matteo. Netcare reports improved results.
Yeah, it's the start of that big results season for the JSE, starting with Netcare this morning. They improved their results. The private healthcare group has reported solid results with profits up more than 20%. The hospital group are recording earnings before tax of 6.6% at 2.5 billion rand, while headline earnings per share were up 22%, a profit measure here in South Africa. Netcare has more than 57 hospitals across the country, including mental health and dental centers. The company's stock at 16 Rand 80 a share at the moment, and that's before markets open at 9 a.m., just around the corner.
Yeah, there we go. Right, Quantum and their results.
Yeah, Quantum Foods reporting a 13% increase in interim profit to 232 million rand for the 6 months ended in March. The company is projecting a significantly tough time in the second half of the year, citing the escalating Middle East conflict and its adverse effects on global supply chains. Of course, they'll be looking at animal feed and fertilizer, which is something that also passes through that very, very important waterway. So they're expecting a much tougher year, given that there's still that bickering between Iran and the US over the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, speaking of which, how's the oil price looking?
Oil price has tanked this morning, all off sentiment, Ray. The US president saying, look, we are close to a deal. Yes, we are talking with Iran. Yes, we are taking our time, but things have simmered down a little bit. And you know what? Analysts and a lot of traders have taken that and they've run with it.
Yeah.
And that's why the price of oil has gone down. The rand, in the meantime, 16 Rand 35 against the US dollar, up more than 0.5%, 19.03 against the euro, and 22 Rand 4 cents against the British pound. Price of gold also up this morning, $4,551 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,960. Brent crude down 8.5% this morning at $95 a barrel. That's
Sure.
your morning business. Stephen Krotis with more this afternoon.
Thanks, Mateo. It brings the time to 8:31. Right in Bali, I see there's been 2 shootings in Khayelitsha.
That's correct, Ray. A very good morning. 6 people have been killed in 2 separate shootings in Khayelitsha. Early this morning, 3 men were shot at a liquor outlet in Ndlovini and they succumbed to their injuries at a medical facility. Meanwhile, in Makaza just yesterday, 3 men were shot dead at an informal dwelling. Police spokesperson Andre Trout says no arrests have been made so far.
A team of experienced detectives attached to the Serious and Violent Crimes Unit is pursuing all available leads to trace and apprehend those responsible, while police deployments have been increased in the affected areas to stabilize the situation and prevent any further violence.
With the state's case against alleged underworld kingpin Nafiz Modak now closed, attention in the Western Cape High Court will shift to co-accused Ziad Pool. Pool faces more than 100 charges, including murder, extortion and money laundering. The state claims Pool played a key role in Modak's alleged criminal enterprise, describing him as a co-manager and close associate. Carlo Peterson reports.
Ziad Pool is accused of assisting in the plot to murder anti-gang unit detective Charles Kinnear, as well as the attempted murder of attorney William Bukars, a company allegedly used by Modak to launder money for crime. Proceedings were postponed last week to allow Paul's lawyer, Advocate Bash Sibda, time to consult with his client after access issues at Paulsmoor Prison. The matter is set to proceed this morning. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And the DA in Gauteng says the public protector's findings in the Charlotte Matleke Academic Hospital investigation are a sign of serious maladministration by the provincial health and infrastructure departments. The public protector's office released the report on Friday following a blaze at the facility in 2021. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi has been given 30 days to submit an action plan tackling the report's recommendations, including accountability measures and lifestyle audits for officials implicated in the delays. DA Gauteng Shadow MEC for Health, Jack Bloom.
Patients really deserve a fully functioning hospital. This is supposed to be our flagship hospital in the province, and still it remains crippled because of infrastructure problems.
In your weather, a partly cloudy Monday expected across Gauteng today. Temperatures peaking at highs of between 21 and 23 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N12 West between Xavier Street and the Diepkloof interchange. That's due to an earlier accident. We still have got that one, though, that happened on the N1 North in the Midrand area right near New Road, causing heavy delays.
The top story in EWN this hour, 6 people have been killed in 2 separate shootings in Khayelitsha this morning.
Let's hear from Dr. Armand, owner of Monument Dental, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
It was one call and I was covered immediately. We are very happy with the premium we're paying. I wish I did it sooner.
For dentistries, general medical practices and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people, for the people on Sunday the 26th of July. Babize bonke. And this year you can choose from 3 different inner city routes. The 5-kilometer Victoria Yards route takes you from Ellis Park through the inspirational Joburg Cricket Club into Victoria Yards and past the Troyville Hotel. And then you finish off at Ellis Park. So whether you are taking on the 5-kilometer, 8-kilometer or 15-kilometer, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Joburg.
Doing your famous through meetings, in traffic, at the store. Don't let seasonal hay fever get in the way of a better you. Unite against allergies with Demazin once a day, providing 24-hour non-sedating relief from symptoms like a runny nose, sneezing and itchy red eyes. Demazin gets it done. Speak to your pharmacist today about Demazin once a day.
702's Small Business Focus, powered by Capitec, shines a spotlight on the drive, passion, and dedication behind every successful small business.
So we've got one of the clients at Merchant Capital that we are currently working with actually took our funding for a revamp. They took that money and they upgraded their Wi-Fi and their smart TVs and highlighted this as a pre-value add in their marketing. So that then immediately focuses on sales. So if you use it wisely, you can and understand your fixed versus variable costs and what variable costs are worth it to increase your sales and what variable costs are worth it to cut, and don't make long-term fixed investment decisions over a 10-year horizon at the moment. Look at your operating expenses as they stand.
Every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m. Catch the Small Business Focus on 702 and bank on better business banking with Capitec. Capitec is an authorized FSP. 46669.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Morning, guys. My daughter, once she was about maybe 4 years old at the time, I took her to the park and I put on the seesaw and I went to the other side, so that I can push her up and down. And as I get to the other side, she shouts very loud in the park, "Daddy, you can't get on there. You're too fat."
So my wife, out of concern for a lady, asked her, should you be going into the hospital ward in your condition? It was an ICU. And obviously she had concern for this lady. The thing is, this lady looked pregnant, but she wasn't pregnant. And you can imagine. It's Zubair from Ridgeway.
Hey Ray, I'm an estate agent. Clients came to view a property, commented to the male clients what his mother thought of the property. He pointed out that his mother was in fact his wife. Never ask clients about their mother, wives, or if their partner is pregnant. I'll remain anonymous.
You gotta be careful. You really do. Cindy, talking about people saying things, they don't mean bad. They don't mean to say bad things, but it just comes out wrong. I mean, I remember once one friend saying to another friend saying, "You've lost so much weight. What is your secret?" And she said, "I've just lost my husband." Oh. And this is it. And she didn't mean, and she felt so bad afterwards. It just came out wrong.
EWN Sport.
But Sundowns and Pirates just came out right.
Yeah.
They really did, you know.
And it feels so nice to be around Joburg this morning because it feels like everybody's happy, right? Oh. And Sundowns are the Champions League champions for a second time after last night's 1-1 draw with ASFAR. That gave them a 2-1 aggregate win, Mokoena cancelling out Ramati's penalty. Sundowns captain and goalkeeper Ronwen Williams.
I'm so proud of everyone associated with Mamelodi Sundowns because only we know how difficult it's been over the last few years, playing so many major tournaments in the last year, the Club World Cup, AFCON, going to World Cup now, Champions League. It's not easy. It's mentally draining, it's physically draining, and you could see in some of our performances this season. But the mindset and the character that we have to keep going, to grind out results, that's what champions are made of.
Orlando Pirates fans celebrating the team breaking a 14-year league drought, but coach Abdeslam Wadou not sure he'll stay on. Speaking of managers leaving, Pep Guardiola said farewell to Manchester City in his 10 years. Guardiola won 20 major trophies, including 6 league titles, their first ever Champions League and 2 domestic trebles. Guardiola has this message for his successor.
Be yourself. The club will support you unconditionally. That is the biggest compliment or the biggest lucky that all the managers we have been here we have. Because you will be protected in the bad moments more than any other club, and be free and your ideas go there, work a lot, and everything will be fine. Everything will be fine.
Champions Arsenal beat Palace 2-1. Man United's 3-0 win over Brighton, including a record 21 goal assists from Bruno Fernandes. Salah said goodbye to Liverpool after a 1-0 draw with Brentford. Tottenham Hotspur survived relegation. They beat Everton 1-0, but West Ham go down with Wolves and Burnley. Springbok Cheslin Colby confirming he'll leave Sun Goliath in Japan and return home to rejoin the Stormers. In golf, South African Richard Sterney won the Sodal Open. A final round 66 saw him finish 18 under, 2 ahead of the field. Kimi Antonelli won the Canadian Formula One Grand Prix. He tussled with Russell, who retired with a power unit problem. Hamilton finished second ahead of Verstappen. And first day at Roland Garros, 7th seed Taylor Fritz was knocked out. Djokovic needed 4 sets to advance, but no problem for the second seed Zverev. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
That's Fani before he got naked. Fani's insurance premium went up for no reason, irritating him more than when the boys ignored the really, really, really funny meme he posted in the group chat. What? So Fani got naked. He got comprehensive car insurance and a way lower premium in seconds on the Naked app. Go Fani. Get a car and home insurance quote now at naked.insure and see how much you can save when you get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
Still shopping around market and save on deals like Kellogg's Cornflakes 1 kg for $76.99. Nescafe Cappuccino Sticks 10 per pack. Buy any 2 and get a third free. Save 80 Rand. And Twin Saver 2-ply white toilet rolls 24 per pack for $159.99. Save 30 Rand. Valid until 7 June. Only at Checkers.
Just Andalex it. Do you have a sore throat? Andalex C Oral Rinse and Spray provides targeted relief from 1 minute that lasts up to 4 hours. It reduces pain and inflammation while numbing the affected areas. It also kills viruses and bacteria that cause sore throats to help prevent serious throat infections. Andalex, South Africa's #1 choice for sore mouth and throats. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional. Just Andalex it.
Every week, millions of South Africans do the same thing. They pick numbers, they take a chance, and for a moment, they dream big. Now the National Lottery is entering a new chapter.
On Tuesday, 26 May, Clement Manyatela will be in conversation with Sizakaya Holdings, the new operator of the National Lottery. Listen to find out what changes and what you can expect from this new era of the National Lottery. The Clement Manyatela Show, in conversation with Sizakaya Holdings. Tuesday on 702. Sizakaya is licensed and regulated. No persons under the age of 18 permitted to play. Play responsibly.
EWN Traffic.
17 minutes to 9 o'clock. Coming up shortly, speaking about flutes and what to do with your Friday lunchtime. Amor, it's not as calm as that at the moment, is it, on the roads? What's the latest?
Well, not at all, Ray, especially if you're using the N1 North towards a Midrand. We've got heavy traffic volumes coming out of the Baku interchange towards New Road, an accident there. As a result, the N1 South is also backed up towards where the scene is. This is due to onlookers. So if you want to avoid this backlog, please try to use Pretoria Main Road. You can also try to use the R55 through Centurion. While traveling on the N3 North, delays between the Elands turnoff and the Van Buren Road exit. There's also queuing traffic on the N12 West. This is between the Diepkloof interchange and the Uncle Charlie's turnoff. This is due to an earlier accident. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Gabelo's the go-to guy for renovations. His bakkie is full of tools, ready to build dreams. But one day, a reckless driver takes him out. Now, his backie's standing still. No wheels, no money, Kabza. But with budget, he'd be back on site faster than you can say DIY. Don't let expensive days stop your hustle. Visit Budget Insurance FSP. T's and C's online.
Tax deadlines don't have to result in penalties. With the 31 May employer submission deadline approaching, avoid lastminute.com. Submit your accurate employer reconciliation declaration, EMP 501, on time using EasyFile or e-filing. Employers, make your tax matters your priority number one. Submit by 31 May 2026. Go to sars.gov.za. SARS, at your service.
Managing your workforce shouldn't be complicated. That's why businesses choose Onacy, a proudly South African cloud-based payroll and HR solution. From payroll and e-recruitment to performance management and self-service tools, we streamline the way businesses handle their people. Scalable, secure, and always online, our system evolves with your needs because your workforce deserves the best. Switch to Onacy and experience payroll and HR done right. Visit onacy.com today.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
So, I mean, Khomotso, you standing in for Clement today, you have a bit of a twitch in your eye. and there it goes again. What is that?
Oh man, Ray, it's been a difficult weekend for me.
I know it has been.
I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan.
I thought so. That's why you're twitching. Hey,
Yeah.
You looked at KG. He's got his Pirates cap going on there.
It's so difficult walking around the office today.
Yeah.
I mean, why are they all wearing this nightwear that they're wearing? All these Pirates people in their nightwear.
Their
walking
nightwear,
around.
hey?
Yes, I mean, what's going on?
You know what? They won. And they did very well. Look, there were 2 own goals at the weekend, but we won't talk about that. They did win. Look, Prime Media, there's a psychologist across the passage there. I can always get the couch out for you if you
I
want.
need that, Reza.
Okay.
And it's about to get worse because on the open line today, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Good.
I promised to troll them on Friday if they didn't win or if they didn't come out on top. And so it's only fair that I come back and with my tail between my legs and accept that they won.
You know what? South Africa won. Just put it that way.
Look,
South Africa won.
South Africa
Great
won.
football.
Yeah, when it comes to the CAF, I mean,
Yeah.
well done to Masandawana, right?
Exactly.
We put everything aside at the weekend, yesterday in particular, and we were cheering for them. Really excited about that. Proud of them. Today, I will congratulate you. Tomorrow, back to factory settings, we say Amakosi for life.
No, we don't. You do. We don't. This is the thing. I'm actually wearing Pirate socks. That's why I'm not dressed up. I've got it on TV today, you see. So Pirate socks. What else do you have coming up?
Lots more coming up on the show. We've got In Conversation, and today we're speaking to Transport Minister Barbara Creasy. Lots to talk about there. She's going to be with us for the whole hour. So taking your calls and your WhatsApps and all questions that you have around transport. And then in the final hour of the show, we talk about navigating turbulent family relations without estrangement. And we're having the conversation, it's so easy to cut people off, Ray, and to say, you know what, I'm just going to walk away, remove myself from the situation. But quite frankly, we can have turbulent relationships and still maintain some sort of proximity and maintain relations. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, just debate, talk, don't fight, just talk.
I hope we'll hear a lot from our listeners about that as well.
There we go. That's Khomotso Modise. She's an Amakosi fan, apparently, on between 9 and 12 today.
It's game day, and the family's facing off against the Snotties and Flemmies. Dad's down! Blocked sinus and mucus is gaining ground!
New game plan. Let's bring in the ACC team.
With ACC, Mom's got the winning play. Entering the field, ACC helps break down mucus and clear the airways. Choose the winning team when you're facing Snotties and Flemmies. If it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
If your network provider was becoming far too expensive, you'd switch, right? So why pay more for car insurance? Switching to OUTsurance saved a 30-year-old Dineo an unbelievable 1,094 Rand on her 2025 Kia Sonet. Get a new quote now, and if OUTsurance can't save you money, ask them for 500 Rand or 1,500 Rand if you're being claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Do it now. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142 now. A licensed insurer and FSP, T's, C's, and information online.
Mzansi, Take-A-Lot's senior cards, and boy have you been shopping. To say thank you for all your support, we're bringing you the Thanks a Lot sale. Get up to 60% off must-have beauty, sports gear, latest tech, TV and appliances, everyday essentials, toys and more. To know you is to spoil you. Shop the Take-A-Lot Thanks a Lot sale from 25 May to 7 June.
702. WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Morning, Ray. It's Manford here. I used to have a firearm. I decided to hand it over. It's been quite some years since I did that, and I feel it's more safer. You become more secure because you will think of securing your property, your area and stuff, than if you do have a firearm, because you'll only say, I've got a firearm, nothing will happen, I've got a firearm, I'll defend myself. The person who doesn't have a firearm is more secure than the one who has got a firearm, because they think more security. They secure their properties more. Thank you.
You know, we've been talking about firearms this morning, and they've found that the number of applications for licenses have skyrocketed. Now, asking the question, this is the police, government, and others, why is it that people want firearms? Don't they feel safe? What's going on? In answer to your WhatsApp, I've got armed response, and I must admit these guys are really good. Our neighbors were broken into, and I heard someone scream a help. So I pushed the button, and the armed response guys came out. They were there with 2 minutes. They were there. They came with all sorts of firearms and all the rest of it. They arrested this guy. They climbed the fence, and they arrested this guy very quickly. They were in and out, and it was fantastic. So perhaps it's something to think about. I know not all of us can afford armed response, but sometimes maybe my point of view is just leave it to the professionals.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
So here's something you might want to do. A lunchtime pause at the theatre on the square. On a Friday, where the city briefly slows down for something light, elegant, and a little bit playful as well. Flute, finesse, and a little bit of frou-frou returns with flautist Isabel Bradley, joined by pianist John Warner. And Isabel joins us now. Isabel, hi, good morning. Good to have you on 702 Breakfast.
Good morning, Ray. Thank you for having me.
Now, tell us all about it.
It's very nice to be...
It's great to have you on. Tell us all about it. I want to know everything.
Yes, sure. The Flute, Finesse and Frou-Frou is a title that was dreamed up for us, and I think it covers just about the whole concert, except for the piano part. John Warner is a terrific pianist, is absolutely equal in the concert. The flute is my instrument, which I play. I have played since I was 8. And the finesse comes from having to learn and practice and study for years, of course, and learning to actually practice not until you get it right, but to practice until you can't get it wrong.
Right.
And yeah, and the frou-frou little bit is a little bit of fun on the side and a little bit of decoration. And it started out as being the last part of the concert, the last work. But we have discovered while rehearsing that the concert is filled with fun frou-frou moments.
I love it. I love the frou-frou. You answered that question. Because when I first saw I'd be speaking to you, I thought, what exactly is frou-frou? So frou-frou's fun. So interpreting everything, Isabel, into this, you've chosen some specific composers as well. Take us through that.
Right. Well, it's sort of like if it were a meal, it would be a menu. So the starter is our delicious Donizetti. It's a little sonata written by an operatic composer. The music is very operatic. It's music without words, but the flute and the piano talking to each other and singing together and generally buoying everybody up and making everybody happy and joyous. The second item is by a flute composer called Friedrich Kuhlau. He was known as the Beethoven of the flute. So he's our big draw name, if you like. The sonata that we're playing is Opus 85, and it's in 4 movements. And there's a lot of emotion that can come through. The audience will feel joy and beauty and possibly a little bit of sadness and some dancing and a little frou-frou included. And then we will end the concert with a piece by French composer Joseph Gossec, who is unknown. It's a shortish piece, and it's absolutely great fun and should end on a very high note. And we're hoping to bring our audience into a nice, warm and beautiful bubble of music that they can leave the theatre afterwards feeling uplifted and ready for a great weekend.
I love it. Theatre on the Square. So it's 1 to 2 this Friday. Oh, it's every Friday, am I right?
It is every Friday, indeed. Daphne Kuhn at the theatre runs a music concert every single Friday with the top musicians in the country. My husband and I attend them when I'm not playing. We listen to them and we love them, and it's a fabulous way to prepare for the weekend, take a break from your working day on a Friday, and just get into that beautiful, relaxed mood that gorgeous music of any genre can bring you.
Can people get up and dance? Because I'm painting the picture in my head and I'm thinking to myself, I would want to. If you start, if say for instance the piano starts and you start with your flute, it becomes quite joyous. I'd want to dance.
Well, I would hope so. I would hope people would get that feeling and enjoy feeling that. There isn't quite the room for people to stand up between the seats and dance, but they can certainly move to the music and enjoy it and switch off their cell phones so that we're not disturbed on stage. And absolutely, music makes you feel that you want to move. Tap your feet. Don't tap them loudly, please, but tap. Don't hum along, please, but enjoy the music and feel it in your heart and soul and your body, and just enjoy the music. Daphne's been doing this for the Sandton public and surrounds, obviously, anybody who wants to attend. For over 20 years, these concerts have been going on each Friday. So, yes. Yes, Daphne's fabulous and her theatre's great.
Isabel, and just thinking about it as well, when you perform a lunchtime setting, does it change how you pace or you shape the music compared to, say, an evening concert, or doesn't it matter?
It doesn't really matter as long as the music's good and you practiced and prepared, you can carry it off. I usually present my music with a couple of poems and a bit of an explanation about either the composer or the work itself. So there's a bit more entertainment as well as the actual music. The music itself does speak straight to the heart. And as long as you tailor it to the time that you're allotted, between 1 and 2, that's all that matters. It's entertaining and giving people joy and music and the passion for it.
It's lovely to see that live classical music like this is still so loved. It's still so popular. Why do you think that is? Do you think people are rediscovering classical music?
Yes, I think so. There's a lot of music going on in Joburg if you sort of care to look for it. Certainly, Daphne's Friday concerts keep music going and help all the musicians, obviously, to just be heard, because musicians want to be heard and they want to share their music with the public. There's the JPO. I'm a member of an orchestra called the Rand Symphony Orchestra. We're doing a concert next week, Sunday, at the Roodepoort Theatre. If you look for it, there are lots of concerts going on around Johannesburg. Smaller concerts with smaller groups for smaller venues like the Theatre on the Square, and the bigger concerts like the JPO in the Linda Auditorium or the Rand Symphony Orchestra at the Roodepoort Theatre. You've just got to look for what's happening around Joburg in music.
It looks absolutely brilliant. Flautist Isabel Bradley, thank you so much for joining us on 702. It's flute, finesse, a little frou-frou as well. It's the Theatre on the Square, and it's on Fridays at lunchtime. So get on down there. Lots of fun to be had.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
And that unfortunately wraps up our time together. If I didn't get your WhatsApps or to your messages, we'll do it all again tomorrow. But Bongs will be in tomorrow between 6 and 9. Here's your latest Eyewitness News.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. 6 people have been killed in 2 separate shootings in Khayelitsha. Early this morning, 3 men were shot at a liquor outlet in Endlovini and they succumbed to their injuries in hospital. Meanwhile, in Makaza just yesterday, 3 men were shot dead at an informal dwelling. Police spokesperson Andre Trout says no arrests have been made so far.
A team of experienced detectives attached to the Serious and Violent Crimes Unit is pursuing all available leads to trace and apprehend those responsible, while police detectives attached to the Serious and Violent Crimes Unit is pursuing all available leads to trace and apprehend those responsible, while police deployments have been increased in the affected areas to stabilize the situation and prevent any further violence.
Limpopo police have warned anti-illegal immigration protesters against breaking the law during planned demonstrations. Police say they will act decisively against any wrongdoing. This follows weeks of demonstrations by groups such as March and Amabuto in various provinces. Police spokesperson Hlulani Mashaba says officers are on standby should there be any form of intimidation, damage to property or unauthorized protests.
There are lawful avenues for raising grievances, and we encourage all parties to use those channels rather than resorting to unlawful protest. The police have been deployed in full force and will act decisively to maintain law and order without fear or favor.
The Ghana High Commission has started processing its nationals